The long-awaited return of tier lists is finally here. At least that's what I hope you guys are thinking, because the servant tier lists certainly earlier this year were fairly popular, so I'm hoping people are excited for this one as well. Yes, indeed, we are back. Not servants this time. I tend to do those once a year, so look forward to maybe more of those early on in 2023, but this is also very important for gameplay because we got craft essences, and not just any craft essences. You probably already read the title, saw the thumbnail, etc. This is 5-star CEs. Now, it's not all 5-star CEs in the game because there will be two different lists. This is the first one. This list, well, you can already probably guess from the images you're seeing right now, this list will handle the so-called welfare ones, the free ones you get from events and stuff that you're guaranteed to get just from playing the game, and no gacha required, okay? And speaking of which, the second list of these 5-star tier lists, which hopefully is next week, unless I'm busy, but hopefully sooner than later, is gonna be the gacha ones, so it's gonna be like a split of two. This will still take a long time, so for those of you who have missed these lists, you know, you know, some people even mentioned they treat these like podcasts, which again, I'm very honored if you actually are entertained by my voice for that long. So thank you, if anything. Yeah, this, if I had to guess, this is probably going to be like 2 to 3 hours at least, even if it's just craft essences. There's 94 of them. That's quite a bit for the free ones. Now, before I get to the disclaimers, to the placement criteria, etc., a few other things to mention. Oh yeah, grab a drink. You might as well, because we're going to be here for a while, just like I said. So stay hydrated, because I'm going to try to do the same thing. There's really not going to be really any editing here, as usual, with these tier lists. So I'm just going to upload this raw to YouTube later as well. But shout out to everyone watching this live as well. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so I didn't really do too much prep here, unlike some of the servant ones. I'm mostly just going to wing this. I do think I have a good opinion about a lot of these CEs, though, but it's just mostly just going to be me rambling what my current thoughts about all the CEs are and whatnot. Also, you might notice it looks a bit different compared to the servant tier list. That's because I finally got a dark theme. This website actually doesn't have one, but I got a browser add-on that lets me do it for like every site, so you guys told me you like to read what chat has to say as well, so now it should be a lot easier to read chat because there's no white background on that chat box. So there you go. Hey, shout out to the chat as well. Apparently YouTube likes you, at least during tier list or something. Especially if you guys argue about like dojins or something while I'm talking about gameplay. You never know what you're gonna get with chat. So there you go. Hopefully you appreciate that as well. It will also apply with the other pages I have here as well. So hopefully everything is a bit easier to read. If you have other feedback as well, feel free to leave it in the comments. I always listen to feedback, especially if it's constructive criticism. I want to make these more enjoyable for everyone to watch, be it live or YouTube later. So yeah, I guess let's get to the disclaimers then. So I'm going to try and be fast here because there's quite a bit of these. Again, this is all opinion-based. That's the one most important disclaimer, okay? Is opinion-based. Sure, there might be cases where some CE is even objectively better than another, sure, but at the end of the day, it's all opinion. So please try to be civil when you're like commenting or saying stuff live or whatever, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's just my opinion on things. It's up to you whether like how much emphasis you want to put into it. So yeah, there you go. All opinion based. Obviously a gameplay tier list, as you can hopefully tell by this point. So this is nothing to do with art or anything else. This is just pure gameplay stuff. This list, as you can see, includes every free CE released up to this day, including JP ones. So this is 7+ years in the making since the game has been out in JP. That's why there's a lot of these CEs, and speaking of which, the order of the placement will be based on release. So we're going to start from the very beginning. It's going to be fun and nostalgic, and we get to see a lot of very questionable early game design. So yeah, it's going to be from oldest to newest in terms of placement. The newest one being GUDAO 7, as of recording this on September 23rd, 2022 for reference. There's other criteria for like placement itself is like how good the CE is, obviously, for the main intended uses, be it for farming, DPSing, supporting, damage niches, etc. There's a bunch of different cases. Now, and because this is the welfare one, I will assume MLBs for these CEs, even if you need a drop for some of them, obviously. In fact, for a lot of them, you did need drops to MLB them. you only got 4 copies for free. Obviously, for some of them, you're guaranteed to get 5 copies for free as well. But regardless, I will assume MLBs for all of these CEs that you see here, because it's pretty doable to get 1 drop most of the time. Now, there will be comparison made, and that will have a weight on the placement of CEs between similar ones, like, let's say, Aerial Drive and the Bunny and CE, or Dive to Blue and Ocean Flyer. So that will have an effect on how CEs will be placed. And speaking of which, when I initially start placing CEs, some of them might get moved around here and there during the list, and also at the end when we do final adjustments, just because it gets a lot easier to place them when there's more comparison for similar Cs. So if I place something, you know, somewhere and you immediately disagree with it, just you should probably at least check the end of the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, that is, in case it ends up getting shifted later when comparison is better. So don't immediately start typing angry comments or something like that. And yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully I have remembered to include timestamps as well for these CEs, so you can click around in case you're interested to see specific ones, because, you know, I'm a nice content creator. I want to make your guys' life easier, okay? I know most people will not be watching this whole thing. That's obviously very understandable. So for you guys, I will hopefully write down timestamps as well. How nice is that of me? So there you go. That's pretty much it for the disclaimers, honestly. Cool. And right before I begin, I might as well ask it during the start as well, because, you know, it's nice when videos do well. So if you actually really enjoy this, there's a lot of bit of work that goes into these. So if you can, just press the thumbs up button already. Like, it really helps out. And if you're really feeling nice, maybe share it with your friends that play the game as well, in case they might be interested too. So every little bit helps, you know. It's a free thing you can do, and it honestly goes a long way. So there you go. Might as well ask right at the start. And after we're done with this, if you liked what you saw, maybe consider subscribing, because there's a lot of fun content on the way in the future as well. Ooh, that's a doozy of an intro. I assume most people already skipped over all of this to look at the Cs, and that's fine. But anyway, we should be good to go now. I don't think I forgot to say anything. Hopefully, I went through all my notes there at least. So we are good to go. Ooh, I'm excited. Remember to stay hydrated though. So we're gonna start from the very beginning. The first ever welfare CE from the original Nero Fest. It's none other than Nightless Rose. It is a gut CE, and this one in particular comes with full HP stat, no attacks. So, what do I think of this CE? It's bad. Straight up bad. A lot of these year 1 CEs will definitely not rank high. You'll see that for a reason, especially when we get better Cs later. Maybe right when this was new, this was alright, because there weren't obviously many gut Cs. In fact, Necromancy might have been the other only one, if that was even on launch, I don't remember. But you'll be seeing later that there's other gut Cs here, then they all do something else as well. It doesn't even come with like a massive amount of bonus HP or anything. I believe this is like a baseline HP for these welfare 5-star gut Cs anyway, and this has just the guts, a one-time guts for 1k HP on full HP stat lines. So this is definitely, I would say, easily the weakest of the welfare 5-star gut Cs. I almost keep saying gotcha all the time, but yeah, how about that? Is the only 2k HP C? It might, honestly, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see later, but yeah, there you go. So it's not completely useless, honestly, but I'm not gonna place it in the Y exclamation point question mark here. I'm just gonna place it in the it just sucks. It just kind of sucks in comparison to all the other ones. There's not really ever a reason for you to pick this up. I just realized again, because this list goes from the order of oldest to newest, we're probably going to be looking at a lot of these lower placements first, because a lot of these old CEs in nowadays standards are just not that good. Anyway, next up, I have a list here to look at the names, so it makes it a bit easier. We have Moonlight Festival. This is a fun event for everyone that played that. You probably have Dango PTSD. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then honestly, you're lucky. Anyway, this was the Orion event where she or Artemis was added into the game, basically. Now this CE right here, oh, So what are we dealing with? MLB, we got a 20% star generation and 20% crit damage on split stats, huh? Yeah, split stats. Have you guys also noticed, now that we're on this topic, that they don't really put star generation into CEs anymore? I think they start to realize that it's not a good effect for CEs. It's honestly not even that good for servants in their kits. They don't really do that much either nowadays. They start to realize that instead of giving star generation, because a lot of modern servants, they just have better hit counts on their cards. So stuff like quick up or buster up would just be better anyway, because they do other stuff besides star generation boost as well. So it's just one of those stats that is not, you know, useless. But now it's just like, again, year one, maybe it had some value, but even then, not really, because again, the hit counts were so terrible. This CE, I don't think I've ever used a CE ever, honestly. It's not good. It's just not good. The crit damage is alright, that's about it. But again, there's going to be so many crit CEs in this entire list, and these are all free, so why the hell would you ever pick this over anything else, honestly? I have a feeling this one might be bad enough for me to even place here, to the complete, like, useless tier, the Y tier. Like, nowadays, it's just, like, you would never use that. I can't think, honestly, a single scenario where that could be the best choice, considering how many crit ones you're about to see later. So, yeah. It's even split stats, which doesn't help. If it was full attack, maybe I'd put it on D or something. But, yeah. Because of how many crit Cs there are, I'm just going to place it there. Now, the next one is very interesting. I don't even need to check the name, because if you saw that story time thing, I have a lot of history with this CE. This was the third CE of the free ones ever to be added, and also the first ever, even among the gacha ones, to have 50% starting gauge. So this CE has a lot of interesting history. Like, depending on what point of the game you're looking at this, it's either good, it's either amazing, subpar, or decent. It has a lot of ups and downs with this CE. Now, first year of the game, this is an easy EX tier CE, no questions asked. Definitely one of the best Cs you could have, year one. Now, as time went on, and we got better gacha Cs and better free ones as well, it definitely took a bit of a dive in comparison to some of the other stuff. But then, again, later on, when they released a certain Mothman called Oberon, who happens to have a skill that, you know, acts as an MP damage amplifier, so the more MP damage you have, the better value you get from that skill, it did gain a bit of a value surge, yet again. Now, what does the CE actually do besides that stuff? We have the 50% starting gauge, 20% MP damage on that MLB, and then it's split stats. I still think, because of the release of Oberon, it is still a good CE for sure, even on split stats. If this was full attack, this would be really, really good. But because it's split stats, and because there's so many other good ones here with 50%ers that have full attack, it does damage it, definitely, for sure. Oh yeah, and it's early split stats, so it's not even, the number isn't as even high as it should be for the levels, which is true. They changed those a bit later. It's an interesting C for sure. I almost still want to place it in an A tier. It's like A or B plus, I think. I agree with Cadillac there. Like, it's still not bad by any means. We might start with B plus or something, I don't know. It's certainly very usable still. Again, if it was full attack, it would be like at least A plus for sure. At least. Maybe even EX, honestly. But we'll start with B plus. We'll take it a little chill here. But yeah, this is definitely one of the better CEs released in year one, if not the best, unless I'm forgetting something, which is very possible. So there you go. At least that one, pretty good to this day. Now the next one, it's Made in Halloween, I believe. Yes, indeed it is. This is another Halloween 1C, because there were two free 5-star Cs. Okay, I can't type. Oh. Okay, here we go. This is a very unique CE, honestly. So, it is a healing received up CE with full HP on the stats. 75% incoming healing received goes up. It's a very interesting CE for the effect. Not necessarily in an amazing way, though. honestly. It's good for the fact that, you know, it's full HP, because usually for effects like this, you would not put it on a DPS. But then again, I think it would be a lot better if it was healing increased instead of healing received, right? Because I'm pretty sure those are different effects, right? This is just, this increases the healing the wearer receives. So, I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. It's a bit awkward, for sure. But yeah, I guess, yeah, for those lovely Iris feel solos, well, there you go. You can definitely keep yourself topped up, I suppose. But besides that, I like that it's still to this day pretty unique in terms of its effects and whatnot, but I wouldn't really say it still has a lot of uses. Not really. If it was healing up done by the wearer, then it would be certainly a lot better, have a lot more use cases, but because it's healing received instead of healing up, then, I don't know. It's kind of weak, honestly. Very, very rarely would you ever even consider using this. I think I can still put it to D because it has a very, like that Iris Feel solo stuff, etc. It's not completely useless. But besides that, I probably would never use the C, honestly. I just can't see myself ever using this CE. So yeah, year one looking pretty grim so far, for most of it. I can understand if someone plays it here as well, but because it has at least the smallest of ever uses, then I don't know. We'll keep it in there for now. Cool, then we have another crit one. I believe this is the GUDAO CE. Yes, this is from GUDAO 1. Let's see here. Has a cool artwork at least, the comic book panels. So what does this do? Hey, it's the first full attack CE. That's a cool thing. So it goes up to 2k attack. Actual good number as well. So that's a good start. Then you have 20% crit damage and 20% MP damage. Like, that's not bad. That's actually legit. So there you go. That's pretty good, I would say. It's not the best of the combos, honestly, but it's 2 offensive effects with decent numbers and full attack, so, you know, obviously it's still good. The only thing that's down is like it's not the best combination, like I said, but still, this is definitely usable for sure. I think I can easily agree with Chad and kind of slide it in here with the Halloween Princess. Again, if there weren't so many Cs with similar effects, it could probably be, again, year one, this would be an A or an A plus easily. Easily. For sure it would be really good. But now this is 2022, 7 years into the game. Because the combination is awkward, we can be a bit more taxing, right? For sure. Again, and especially when all of this stuff is free. So if you've played, you've had the option to get all of the other stuff as well. So how about that? Still pretty good. Now we're getting to Christmas One in Holy Night Sign. This is the HNS that is not the good one, sadly. By HNS, we usually talk about Holy Night Supper, which you will see later for Christmas 2, but now, first of all, we have the original HNS that no one ever talks about. Holy Night Sign, that is. So, Christmas 1 Welfare CE. First of all, split stats. And then for the MLB effect, we have 10% quick up and 20% crit damage. Immediately another 20% crit damage. If this was full attack, it's actually even better than GUDAO, because this combo is much better than like crit damage and MP damage, because quick tends to generate a lot of stars anyway, so this would be a lot better. But because it's split stats, I would say it's still probably worse than GUDAO, honestly. So this is the HNS that no one talks about. The other HNS that we'll see sooner than later will be the much better one, if anything. This one, I would probably slide into a C+, which is around average. Maybe it goes lower later, depending on the comparisons, but I'm just gonna slide it into average. That's it. The effects are good, the combo is good, but split stats definitely holds it down a lot in comparison to the other ones. Ooh, the Saber Wars 1 CEs. Oh no, oh no, no. Okay, we're gonna start with Purely Bloom. Okay. Dude, you know what's funny? There's 2 free Cs for Saber Wars 1. Both of them are still better than the 5-star Gacha CE. I'm so sad you can't see it right now, but the next list you will see it. It's arguably the worst 5-star CE in the game. It's so bad. But anyway, we're going to talk about the welfare Cs here. So, what do we have? Full attack. Cool. And then stacking MP damage every turn. Up to 50% on MLB. So it takes 10 turns to get 50% MP damage. I like that it's full attack. And it's great that the potential is high. But it's so slow. So slow. If this was a supporty effect instead, I think it could be better. Like a stacking supportive effect. For a like MP per turn that goes higher and higher or something like that. Something that helps. Or maybe stars per turn that gets higher and higher. But it's so slow. I would say too slow. Because there's so many other good MP damage. Even the free ones. There's so many good ones that you would definitely use over this one. And remember, even on max like stacks, it's still less damage than Black Grail. Granted, it has the demerit, but honestly, it's a joke of a demerit, so... Yeah, it's like you have to wait 10 turns to get a worse Black Grail. Yes, it's a gacha CE compared to this, but still, like, come on, dude. That doesn't sound too appetizing, honestly. It's not completely useless by any means, but it's certainly on the weaker side. I'm thinking D+. Is not as bad as these, but again, just... Would not really ever really see myself using it though over the other MP damage options. Mostly because it's full attack as well, which is nice. So that's about it. We'll see if I'll swap that later. Then we have Star of Artoria. I believe this is a Gutsy, right? So this should already... Oops. This should already be better than the Nightless Rose or whatever it's called, right? Yeah, Nightless Rose. Okay. Indeed it is, by quite a bit. The Guts is actually only 1 HP instead of the 1k. It doesn't scale, but it is full attack, which I like. And then it has a 10% debuff as a bonus, I guess. I would still say this is on the weaker side of all the, you know, free gacha Cs, or not gacha Cs, but the welfare Cs, when it comes to Guts effects. But it's certainly better than Nightless Rose, which honestly doesn't take much at all, so... Yeah, I agree, it's still pretty dog, to quote Jord here. I like the use of the word dog. I'm still gonna put this right... I'm gonna put both of them in the same tier. There you go, both of them in same tier. Honestly, sometimes the 1 HP could be an upside for someone like Hijikata, for instance, or Anne and Mary, who actually scale with lower HP. So sometimes the less HP Guts could be a better thing, but only in those cases that, you know, have that... damage scaling based on missing HP. So I'm gonna put them both there for pretty damn low. So we're still going on with year 1. It is not looking good. Okay. And the next one. Oh, the next one. Oh, it breaks my heart because the art is so good. Oh, it breaks my heart, man. So we're gonna have not Halloween, Valentine's 1. Oh god. Oh, this is the wrong thing. God damn it. Whoops. My short-term memory is biting me in the ass. Melty Sweetheart, here we go. I very much like this art because it's drawn by Haimura, who does the art for the Index light novels, for instance, for people that don't know. I read those, so I love the artist as well. But anyway, what do we got? First of all, full HP. Not necessarily a bad thing, honestly, if it's a supportive CE, and indeed it is. But then the effect. The effect. First of all, 20% star gen. Why? And then... defense up against male by 100%. Sounds good, but then you realize it's only 3 attacks. Like, if you're gonna have a slow-ass CE, which is clearly meant for, like, bosses, not only does this, you lose this effect very fast, what the hell is this effect? Why does it have why is it not like stars per turn? Why isn't it MP per turn? Why isn't it a damage cut? Why isn't it anything that could make your support better? Why is it star generation? Not a single support, besides like maybe Osaka, Behim, and some others, can actually make any use out of that, honestly. Such a weird C. Now, it can have some cool uses, because obviously, if the enemy doesn't have like defense down on you, or like a lot of buffs, you can fully negate attacks from male enemies, but that's again only if they're unbuffed. As soon as they get buffs to counter some of that number, it still doesn't fully negate stuff. You're better off running stuff like X times invul hits or X times evade hits in the most cases anyway. So even though it has a cool niche, it's just not executed well, honestly. Can't really think too many reasons to where I would ever find myself even considering to use this CE. Besides the awesome art by Haimura, but okay. I want to place it in Y, honestly. Maybe you could think of a cute niche use for it, but again, because of the other stuff existing, it's just why? Just why, honestly? I don't... If it was anything else than Star Generation, like an actual cool, useful effect, then maybe I would consider a D or something. But Star, it's so... Like, not only is it a shit effect, a part of my French, it's like completely misplaced on a CE like that to begin with. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, bad effect and misplaced, you know it's bad. Oh no, okay, we get to K and K. Now, it's not all bad, but one of them is certainly, like, you know, pretty damn bad. We're gonna start with the better one for sure, which is Decapitating Bunny. Funnily enough, this actually made them do the Shiki Saber costume eventually with Summer 4. That's kind of nice. So, what do we got? Full attack, that's cool. Ignores invul. And also comes with quick up by 10%. So it's actually not bad at all. It is good. Now there's going to be a lot of ignore invul Cs here among the free ones. So comparison will happen. But honestly, I would say this is definitely a great CE. Like good. For if you need that invul pierce and your DPS is quick, this is probably a top option, honestly. Yeah, I do agree the value is a bit gimped. The ignore invul is not that valuable. This should be like 15% or something. Probably year 1 design, whatever. But still, is not bad by any means, honestly. This is one of the best Cs of year 1, if anything. It's either a B+ or an A. Maybe I'll still keep it in B+ for now, honestly. Because the value is a bit gimped. If it was 15% quick, certainly at least an A. We'll keep it here for now. Maybe I'll change my mind later once we place the other invul pierce ones as well. I know the best one already from the top of my head. But let's see here. And then we have to look at the other one. Oh no, Threefold Barrier. Oh no, dude. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Many people don't even know the CE exists if you didn't play the K&K event. It is not good. Okay. Full HP and then a damage cut for 1200, but only for 3 attacks and there's no other effect. What the hell? You thought the Mashu CE was bad? This is even worse. This is even worse, dude. What the hell? Why would you ever in a million years pick this? And if this is the only effect and it's only for 3 attacks, this should be at least a 3000 damage cut. This doesn't even make you take 0 damage. A crit would still damage you for sure. This would only help with like non-critical face guard damage taken. Like, how is this in the same event as Decapitating Bunny? It makes no sense. The year 1 is some real wacky game design, okay? This is arguably the worst CE in this entire list. Unless I'm forgetting something, which is possible. This honestly is an argument to be made to the worst of the whole list. Okay, like damage cut normally good, but if it's done like this, then yikers. Yeah, this is the easiest Y ever. Easiest Y. Okay. Just never use that CE. Just absolutely not. Moving on, we got the Jalter event. It actually has 3 free 5-star CEs. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. We're gonna start with School of Chaldea. This is kind of an interesting one. We're finally getting the second free CE with 50% starting gauge. It is this one. So, what do we got? Split stats. Usually never the best case scenario, honestly. But you do have that 50% starting gauge like Halloween Princess, but instead of MP damage, you have healing, again, not done, but received up by 30%. Again, at the time of this release, it would still be a fairly high tier, but even then, not super high tier, just because of the 50% starting age. But now, 7 years and over into the game, God knows how many free 50%ers we have. This is certainly among the bottom of all of them. Healing done would certainly be better, again, much like with Maid in Halloween. Healing received is... it's just not that big. Like, healing tends to be one of the weakest defensive mechanics in the game anyway, because the hardest bosses either one-shot you or just do 0 damage if you have good defenses. Healing tends to not be amazing. It's obviously nice to have, but usually it's not like what makes you live or die. And you can, you know, you should still be fine even without bonuses like this if you end up actually getting use of healing. Doesn't really make that big of a deal. Art is cute, yeah, I agree, but this is not an art list. I would say, even despite being a 50% starter, it's one of the Ds for sure, I think. Even if, because again, there's so many 50%ers, and it splits stats as well. It doesn't really have anything big going for it, honestly. Not really anything. Maybe consider, the only reason I'm considering D+ is because it's unique in the healing received up, but then again, it's not a good effect to begin with, so yeah, it's rare and cool, but because it's not even that good, I'm still gonna keep it in D, I think. Damn, year 1. Yikers. I keep saying that, but yeah. Now, the other 2 free ones are actually interesting. In a good way, I would say. First of all, we got Holy Maiden. I should have included clickable links here, but whatever, it's okay. Holy Maiden leading Chaldea. Here we go. This is an interesting one. Full attack. Great. Stars per turn, and buster up 15%. Now, this is actually a fairly legit crit DPS CE, or like a buster servant, obviously. It's not bad. The effect is a bit lower on the lower side, yeah, but still, actually, it's legit. It's certainly legit. I understand why they made this CE, because this event was where they released Jalter as well, so this CE is actually not that bad on her. I see a lot of people who played the event actually using this on her. In my opinion, not her best choice by a long shot, but certainly a very solid one. I would say this as well is like a B+. Maybe even A, honestly. This is a hard one. We'll start with this again. Maybe shifting later, but again, it's solid. It's just solid. No real big problems with it. Then the other one is even more unique. We got Empieta or whatever. I think the C has a different name on an A. It's like the Forgotten One or something. Let's see. The Merciless One. Okay. So this one is interesting. First of all, it's full attack, which honestly is good despite the effect. Because this is a cool one. When you die, your other frontline members get 20% gauge on the MLB. And this doesn't really matter too much for the use, but it does have 15% buster up as well. If anything, it's good that it's attack instead of HP, because usually you use these in setups anyway for units that are supposed to die. That's all the CE is. It's just for setups, basically, right? I would never use this in anything else than setups like this where this party gauge is useful. It's still better than like the 3-star option in Battling Camlan, which is only 15%. Obviously, that has the upside of being a 3-star cost CE, while this has a hefty cost of 12, being a 5-star CE, but still, to this day, actually a very usable setup CE, for sure. Yeah, this is for the level 1 Georges out there, or the Leonidases and everything. This is a very common you see in solos for your units that are meant to die, for sure. If only it increases party buster performance. Yeah, imagine that. I think this is one of the A's, honestly, for its intended purpose. It's not like the most common purpose out there, obviously. It's not like it's an amazing purpose, but it's for the purpose it's used for. It's among the best ones, honestly. I can't really see myself placing it in EX, though, but I might be willing to make a case for A+ here, honestly. I think EX is a bit too high. If soloing was like the best way to clear shit, maybe I would put it in EX. I mean, sometimes it actually is very good, but not always. So just because of that, I think I'm gonna leave it in A+. Still, good CE for sure. arguably the best of, like, actually, at least in terms of the defeated MP gauge stuff, it is the best. But yeah, there you go. Now moving on, we got this is Fate Zero event, right? I believe. Funnily enough, it introduced a lot of 5-star Cs, but only one of them was free. So we'll see the other ones, for better or worse, in the other tier list. So we got the Rightful Place one. This is I've always kind of liked the C. It's definitely not amazing, but I'll tell you why. First of all, the art is cute. It's also drawn by Takeuchi. I like it. But now you might be saying split stats again, it's not great. I agree. But when you look at the effects, honestly, it's a cool little thing for once. It's another one of these 50% starting gauge Cs, and then the only other effect is stars per turn. Now, in my opinion, the reason this CE is good is not because of the combination of things, but because of how versatile it is. This is a CE you can literally run on anyone. No joke. Split stats, support, DPS, that's fine. Stars per turn, support, DPS, yeah, starting gauge, same thing. You can run this on anyone. Absolutely anyone. It's so vague with the stats and it's usable on anyone. It's never gonna be the best choice for anyone. This is the jack of all trades, master of none. So obviously, when you do have the better options, you usually go with those because you can have the option to target the strengths of the servants instead of having, you know, decent all-rounder C like this, but this is one of the most versatile 5-star Cs in the game, in my opinion. I'm still not going to give it a super high rating, but I like the fact that it's just so versatile. Honestly, I would say this is definitely a B+, maybe even A, honestly, because in the whole list, this may actually be the most versatile C in the game for anyone. DPS, support, tank, whatever, dude. It's certainly in the conversation. We'll keep it in there for now. Maybe I'll lower it later, but who knows. Good C. But I think the value definitely does go down when you have a lot of options. But if you don't have a ton of options, then yeah, it's absolutely up there. Next one is also an interesting one, The Wandering Tales of Shana-oh. Let's see. It's another one of these similar to the Empieta one, which does stuff when your unit dies, basically. Now, it's split stats. Arguably, you'd want it to be full attack so your unit dies easier. So what does this do? First of all, like the other one, this also has a card type up for the wielder. Quick up 15% instead of the buster up. But now, when you die, instead of giving your party gauge, you do give them quick for 30%, but it's only for one turn. So, this is usually only used for, like, one-shots. So, it's definitely not as good as the Jolter one. I think it's actually John in the scene, now that I think about it. Yeah, but whatever, you get my point. This is definitely not as good. This is way more niche. That should be a 3-turn quick up for sure. Definitely. It being one turn, it's just not that good. I like that it's unique, because there's still not that many Cs like this that do different stuff when you die, but still, it's so weak, it's not that good. I would say a C, honestly. Whoops, what did I just let it in there. Yes, I would say a C here, so just below average. Just because it's still niche and it can see use, but the use case is very small, and the effect is weak, so there you go. I would say it's an easy flat C. Doesn't that mean the quick buff is gone once the enemy stops attacking? No, because okay, I'll quickly explain how duration works with debuffs and buffs. So for buffs, they tick down at the end of your attack cycle, which means before the enemy goes, right? Now, what that means is that when the enemy goes and they kill your unit, that means you've already ticked down your attack buff. So the next time your buffs tick down is after the next turn when you attack again. So you will always have that one turn of that quick up, granted the others survive to have it. And the way debuffs work, they tick down after the enemy goes. So it's an easy way to remember. Enemy goes, debuffs go down, you go, buffs go down. So yeah, it's not a way. You don't have to take use of it in the same turn. That would be impossible anyway, now that I think about it. Yeah, because you can't attack in the same turn after you die. So anyway, you get my point, hopefully. Whoa, the next one, I love it. Oof, it's already there. This is still year one. We're not in the first anniversary yet, I think. It's actually hard to tell in this list when the year, when we go to a different year happens. I think it's after summer. In the gacha one, it's easy to tell because you have the 5-star anniversary, see, but this one, it's kind of hard to tell. Anyway, it doesn't really matter anyway. I think this is still year 1. So next one, we have Golden Carp. One of my all-time favorite CEs, for sure. I love this CE. It's my go-to Star Bomb CE, for sure. Whenever I need a Star Bomb, 9 times out of 10, this is the one I use. So, full attack, cool, and then a 50% starting gauge with that standard 20 Star Bomb on an SSR CE. Now, for frontline stuff, it's not that good. Unless you have a DPS that just wants to MP immediately, that might need stars as well, then yeah, it actually has frontline stuff as well. The real reason I think this C is amazing is for backliners. It's such a huge boost to your start. Like, think of it like this. Your backline comes in, they get like the biggest shove on their back with the 50% starting gauge and the 20 star bomb, immediately getting 2 effects that have a lot of impact. So when you come in, you can already start working with a decent amount of stuff here. And because it's full attack, it means that, yeah, it's good for DPSing as well. Very cool. Very, very cool. It is definitely my favorite Star Bomb CE in the entire game. And it was the first one of the 5-star CEs, which is kind of cool, I guess. So for one, they actually did something correct with the earlier game design. This is fairly easy to use. I would say at least an A+, maybe even EX, because it is, in my opinion, the best Star Bomb CE in the game. Is that enough to put it into EX? Possibly. Very possibly, honestly. Because I do think it is the best Star Bomb CE in the game. Because the other reason why it gains more points is because they don't really do Star Bombs with gacha CEs, right? So you don't even have other options on the other side of these 5-star CEs. It is literally the best of the best of all 5-star CEs in the game. So if anything, that means it should be EX, right? Yeah. Hide Hunter is the other really good one, obviously, and you'll see that later. But this, in my opinion, has easier and more common use than Hide Hunter does. Yeah. There you go. Love Golden Carp. Man, these Rashomon and Onigashima, we have some good welfare CEs, huh? You'll see the other one soon, and you already know about it. There's another one as well, but yeah, it's actually not that bad either. But before we get to, I believe, Onigashima, because this was Rashomon, I believe, we have Go West in the middle. So let's talk about Go West CEs. Spoiler, they're not good. They're not good. All right, we got the 3 great heroes, first of all. Ooh, warning, you're about to see Star Generation trigger warning. Anyway, first of all, split stats. You hate to see it. MP damage, 20%. Cool. Star Gen, 20%. And then a 40% MLB star. Why? Why? This CE is the definition of all over the place. Why? Why? Even if it was 50%, which it absolutely should be, by the way. This is stupid. Even if it was 50%, this would still not be a great CE, honestly, to this day's standards. It would be, like, barely okay. But at 40%, that's such an awkward number to work with, man. 50% is so much easier to work with. It's like, you might think it's not a big difference. It is. Starting with 40 or 50 is a huge difference. It's big. It's really big. It's a big hit, honestly. Ay, ay, ay. The only thing I like about this CE is 20% MP damage. That's it. Everything else, kind of garbage bin material, honestly. It's way too all over the place, and the effects are not good either, so it's just not a good combination. I'm gonna place it in D, because it's not complete garbage, but it's so bad that I can't, it has to be a low tier. It just has to be a low tier. I don't think I've really ever picked this C outside of the event itself. Anyway, the other one is actually cool. It's a spoiler, it's actually not amazing either, but it's at least a very unique case once again. Divine Princess of the Storm. This is a defensive CE, and one of those that, again, does stuff when you die. Now, again, arguably it would be maybe better if it was full attack instead of full HP, because you want the wielder to die, because unlike the other ones, this doesn't even have anything else that helps you unless you die. This doesn't even have that quick up or buster up, but hey, at least this is not bad. So it's not just one turn like the Ushi one. When you die, your alive party members in the field get 25% defense up for 3 turns. Like, that is actually a significant boost to your defense. Also, this is Nightingale for those asking in the art. I wish it was attack instead, so it's easier. Not always a big deal, honestly, but attack would make it a bit easier to work with. But it's actually not that bad. This could actually sometimes have use. That 3 turns makes a difference, for sure. Now, where would I place this? It's a very unique case. I do think it has way more use cases than the Ushi one. It's either a C+ or a B, in my opinion. Maybe even a B, honestly. It is very unique, and the effect is solid, so there's nothing else that really does the same thing. I think this is actually the only CE that does give you defense up on death, right? Pretty sure it is, actually. It's not amazing, but it's the only thing that does it, and it does it in a decent way, so... yeah, there you go. This CE could absolutely have uses. Yeah, outside of Bond C stuff, I suppose. Not bad, Hiatus. Does the 3 turns count for the turn when that is defeated? I believe no. Again, because it's a buff. Buffs tick down at the end of your attack phase, including defensive buffs, right? So at this point, when the unit dies, it's after the enemy goes. So it doesn't tick it down from the enemy going. So pretty sure you get 3 turns after the unit dies with this, which is nice. Then the other Go West interesting scene, and the real one that everyone always talks about, which is something that's used way more than those two. Spoiler. Is this the CE? No, this is a skill, I believe. Does it not have a hyphen here or something? Oops. Well, this is interesting. Oh, is it called Demonox? Let's search for it. Ah, here we go. Ox Demon King. Okay, cool. Slight technical difficulties. Anyway, this is awesome. I like this C a lot. So first of all, full attack. Honestly, it's not a big deal if it's attack or HP, but I kind of prefer it to be attack, because usually you want the wielders of the sea to kind of die anyway. Because this is mostly used for setups, obviously, because the effect is when the unit holding this enters the field, not defeated this time, just enters the field, your whole front line gets 3 turns of 15% buster up. Actually kind of cool. They haven't done this with Quick or Arts. I can see why. But with at least we have the Buster version. That is very cool. This CE still to this day actually has a lot of uses. Obviously just for setups. There's no reason to bring this CE if you're not doing some kind of a setup. But for these setups, it is great. A lot of times it might not be needed, because you're probably stacked with buffs anyway, but you know. Rather use this than like something that does nothing for the setup anyway, so it's just a bonus, you know? Definitely. I want to say it's like an A+ with the... These are like some of the best of these super niche CEs with the Jalter one, honestly. Ox King is easily usable. I use it all the time, mostly with challenge quests, but still, I use it like every month, pretty much. And again, there's nothing else that does this, so yeah. Cool stuff. If there were other ones, maybe I would bump it a bit down, but this is still like on the top side. There are some Bond Cs that have similar effects in auras, so you don't even have the duration, obviously. But sometimes it's better that it's a buff than an aura, because auras only work when the unit is fielded. Let's say you have this on someone and they die, you still get to keep the rest of the buff, even if, you know, someone else comes in, which usually tends to be preferable for the setups anyway. So there you go. Oh, yeah. Now we get to Onigashima, I believe. Okay, dude. Okay. One of the most famous CEs in terms of the free ones of them all. Arguably the most famous one, if any. I don't know. There's a lot of them, but yeah, this one. Golden Sumo. If you don't know what Golden Sumo is, I don't know what to tell you. First of all, full attack. Amazing. 50% starting gauge. So not only... Is this the first 50% starting gauge with full attack, by the way, of the free ones? And then the secondary effect is just, yeah, 15% attack up. Like, talk about taking the world by storm when it comes to free CEs. Yeah, oof. Just ridiculous. Like, attack up on a CE is like one of the most rarest things. I believe it's only like 1 or 2 Cs that does it. And this one is easily the best one. It is stupid. Obviously, the more attack your servant has, the better. But, yeah. Now, obviously, it is an easy EX. But I have to say, a side note, I do agree with Jord that, you know, it's never the best of the best options, but it's a CE you can use on anyone and it makes them better for DPSing. But for many, it's not the best option ever. But it's still, like, so good. It's just so good. It's, like, ridiculously good. It improves every DPS in the game, no matter how you look at it. Even if it's not the best option for the servant. It's still the best option for Buster Loop is 50% in it. I don't think so, because of, at least if you're using Oberon, you probably want MP damage instead. But yeah, for Buster Looping, it's still amazing, obviously, because they don't give you attack up. So yeah, obviously, yeah, it's amazing there too, regardless. So yeah, Golden Carp, Golden Sumo. Kintoki looking pretty good on the CE tier list, huh? Yeah. Yeah, like George said, the Bunny and CE tends to be better than this for Buster Looping, but still a top option for that too. Oh, I completely forgot about talking about levels. Maybe I'll do it at the end though. You know what? Yeah, maybe after I've placed everything, I give you recommendations to like level 50, level 100, whatever. But I can already tell you at this point, if you have a Golden Sumo, MLB and it's not level 100, you probably should fix that. It's one of the easiest Cs you should level to 100. Or one of the easiest choices. It's a no-brainer. Like, this CE of all the CEs is the biggest no-brainer to level. Because literally, the attack is nice to have, but it also makes the effect of the CE better. Because this also gets counted. This is added to your servant's attack, and then you get the 15% from your servant's attack. So it has, like, double the value when you think about it. In my opinion, it has the best value of all CEs, besides, like, Black Grail and K-Scope to level 100 or something like that. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Moving on, the second Onigashima free CE is Hot Spring. Actually, I kind of like the CE too. Now, it's not as, you know, crazy good as Golden Sumo, but it's a nice CE, I would say. Is Golden Sumo free CE? Oh, these are all free, my dude. This is the free 5-star CEs list. Next week, or whenever I can do it, is the gacha ones. So, full attack again. Cool. Do they even do this nowadays? Like, give 2 full attack Cs in the same event? I don't think so. Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, this event did that. And you get 25% crit damage and 4 stars per turn. Cool combo. Max at, like, full attack. It is definitely really, really good. Like, this event was very nice for free CEs. In fact, from what I remember, the gacha CE was not even as good. And not even close to being it. It was like dumplings over flowers, I think. Unless that was Rush Shellman. Anyway, there's no way the gacha Cs were as good as the free ones in this event. For sure. Yeah, now that's synergy, I agree. And you gotta keep in mind as well, it's not only is it a good combo, but because it's not like tied to a card type, it's actually so good for versatility. You can use this on anyone that has focus to crits. Because it doesn't have, like, quick up. So for someone like Lancelot Saber, that would be awkward as hell. Because he only has, I believe, like 1 quick or something. While he has crit focus otherwise. But because this doesn't focus on anything in particular, it's so nice. Like, it's just really good. You think it's the best crit C in the game, in your opinion? Highest value for crit damage of all C. I know you're being sincere when I know you don't actually even like stars per turn that much in terms of an effect, like value for an effect. So if anything, that actually adds to that point, Jord, I would say. So yeah, I think it's between these two again. I might start with A+, or I could just immediately EX it, honestly. I don't know. It's obviously a top crit C for sure. Maybe I'll just EX it, honestly. Because I love the versatility. And then the effect combo is so good and it's full attack. Like, come on, dude. If we get other amazing crit Cs as well, it might come down at the end. But I think I can actually start with EX. And yeah, remember, the events also had a Kentucky Rider as a dude. Man, those were like some of the best events for free stuff when you think about it. That's crazy, dude. That's like insane for free stuff. Oh my god. Hopefully they do like the mega reruns at some point so newer players get those as well. Insane stuff. I do agree with the statement True Knight said that it's maybe not the best still because there's a lot easier ways to get stars nowadays because of all the bombs and stuff on servants kits, but I'll still keep it there for now. We might move it later though, but we'll see. Oh, and speaking of crit CEs, oh, the next one. We get to Summer 1 as well. We got Summertime Mistress. Another really, really good CE. People don't talk about the CE enough, honestly. So, it's also full attack. 20% crit damage, and this is the starting gauge version. Like, wow. Like, how good is that? Also, Summer Camilla before Summer Carmilla was even a thing. How about that? Like, it's just really damn good, too. Same thing as the Oni one. It's also, like, something you can use on anyone that has crit focus. Still, maybe not, like, this combo is obviously still, it works, it's nice, but I kind of prefer the stars per turn with crit damage, because it's directly, like, supporting each other. This one, not very directly, especially, obviously, when MPs cannot crit. But this CE is still absolutely a really good one, and I'm actually kind of shocked it was Summer 1 of all things. Well, at least the other CE will make up for it, kinda. I think this is an A+. Pretty much. And if Oni comes down maybe later, they could still maybe be in the same tier, but at least for now I want to keep Oni a bit higher, because the effect pairing is a bit more synergetic. I don't know what to call that. Words, but there you go. Great, great C regardless. Yeah, we quite kind of improved in the past options a little bit. The start was so horrible. Is it synergistic? Is that the word? Okay, there you go. And then the other C from Summer 1. It's actually a Guts one. Pretty sure. I think this is one of the HP ones as well, right? If I remember correctly. So it's a more defensive-oriented one. Yeah, it's full HP, 1 time 1 HP Guts, and then MP generation. Is not actually that bad. You would not run this on your DPS, though, because of the HP. But you could maybe run this on a support, honestly. Maybe. Probably not a top tier option, though. And yeah, maybe for some solos, I agree. You could you could make the argument for this to be used in some solos as well. But again, there's so many other really amazing options. Also, yeah, the art is interesting. When do we actually get this, by the way? Just saying. You know what's funny? You might not notice immediately. Look at the bottom right corner. It's Cursed Arm just looking down from the waves. It's his mask right there. It's a very sneaky little thing. And also Jack and Ushi are standing on Babbage. There's a lot of cool little details with this. See, they're standing on Babbage right there. Anyway, this is not an art list, but this would be a high ranking for art at least. Anyway, yeah, so it's like the third Gutsy so far, I believe. This one was the best one so far. I do think it's much better than Star of Artoria, at least. Maybe a C+, honestly? Like, just average. Because it does have some use cases. Maybe even a B, because it's, like, not just for supports, maybe for some solos as well. Yeah, okay. Let's put it just above average. Because it has some solo potential, and because it has some support potential. I don't think in either case it will probably ever be the best option. But those are definitely some options. And yeah, for Guts CEs, even though you might not need that for your supports, this might be the best Guts CE for support. But again, you might want to run something else on your support anyway, chances are. So, you know, I'll just leave it there. Wow, okay, oh, now we're definitely year 2, because it's time for the second Nerofest. Did they improve on the CE? I think they did, but from what I remember, not by much. Pretty sure it's not a big improvement. Princess of the White Rose. Nightless Rose was garbage. What is this? We got split stats. Okay. Then you get 1 HP Guts. Okay. And then 20% starting gauge. I don't know, man. Like, it's not good. It's just not good. Like, why? Like, even if it split stats, I would still run Chaldea Lifesavers, the one we saw just now, over this one on a DPS as well. I don't get it. It's better than Nightless Rose, probably. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, it is better than Nightless Rose because it does have this, and it has at least some attack where it has only HP and a shit amount of HP, only 2k. The 1 HP Gutch doesn't really matter that much compared to 1k, honestly. So either I move, okay, so it's like here, unless I want to move Nightless Rose down and put it to D. Maybe I can put it to the same tier as Star of Artoria, though. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's fair to be on the same tier. But honestly, I think Nightless Rose should be here, right? Yeah, okay. Maybe like that. We'll do it like that. Man, Narrowfest so far looking like garbage. But hey, this one had 2 CEs, so I think we might actually see something good from a Narrowfest finally. Because this one had 2 CEs. So the next one is Joint Recital. Ooh, okay. Finally, we can move from the garbage. Cool. Okay, if you like Buster crits, you've probably heard of this CE. Yeah, full attack, 20% Buster up, 20% crit damage. Is nice. So what was the other one? We had, this is a good comparison to the GUDAO one, right? That had, I believe, crit damage and MP damage, right? With full attack, the first good. This is a very comparable CE to that. I kind of prefer this, honestly, even though this is not as generic, but I like the combo more anyway, honestly. I would prefer this over the GUDAO CE from GUDAO 1. Even if this is more specific, because again, it's okay for CEs to, they don't have to be super niche, because again, you can pick whatever you want. If you have a good selection, you should always be specific to your servant if possible. Obviously, I do give a bit of bonus points for versatility for people that don't have big CE collections, but if you do have that, then obviously you would always just pick the niche that fits the servant. And to this day, this is still a top Buster crit CE over 7 years later. I agree, Paolo, yeah. It really is. It's still definitely up there. So GUDAO was B. This is at least an A. Maybe honestly an A+. I would maybe honestly put this on A+. It is really good. It is really, really good. Yeah, I think this is this definitely is a fair A+. So good job, Narrowfest. At least you gave us something good so far. Not just very, very bad gut CEs. Okay. I do think Like a Bird might be better, honestly, but we'll see when we get to that. I might honestly just put it to EX. We'll see. Depending on where I put it, that we might move this, but yeah, we'll see. It's much later, obviously. So, now we move on to Halloween 2. We got, is it Hero Ellie's Adventure? Something like that. There you go. Oh, Heroine. How do you pronounce that? No, it's Heroine, right? Heroin is a drug. Okay, ignore that. Okay, I always have trouble pronouncing. Yeah, okay, whatever. Moving on. Okay. So, this is honestly very similar to Joint Recital. It's funny because they were back to back. Yeah, again, full attack, Buster up. Not only 15% compared to 20 from Joint Recital, but 25% MP damage. They are both just very solid, honestly. Very good. Now, I think I'm probably not going to rate this as high as Joint Recital because this is my reasoning. I think MP damage would be better with Quick and especially with Arts because they have an easier time to get to the MPs, right? Whereas crits is very easy for Buster Servants more often enough, so that's why I like Joint Recital more. It's usually not the easiest thing to get the Buster MPs going, especially when you start with 0 gauge. But it is a good scene nonetheless, for sure. And obviously some Buster Servants have really good gains. Most of them don't, but some actually do. And this would be a great option for them. For someone like Gilgamesh, for instance, this is really, really good, especially because he doesn't even have Buster up in his kit. And he has good gains, so it's not really a hard thing to get his MP regardless. So I would rate this a... It's either an A or a B+, I would say. Maybe I can put it to A, honestly. I do think Joint Recital has more uses, though. Seems like chat is pretty split on this as well. Can use it as a black rail replacement for Buster units who can BG like Casku. True. But still, it's only a replacement still, yeah. It is the Buster Royal Icing, you're right. Although I do think Royal Icing might still be better, because it's much better on arts, like I said. Yeah, I'll keep it in A for now, though. We'll see. Again, all of this stuff is subject to change, especially towards the end. Oh, here we go. I was talking about my favorite Invulpir CE. Well, at least this is one of them. There's a lot of really cool ones, but Sweet Crystal is certainly in the conversation. Here we go. So yeah, Invulpirs. Much like the Decapitating Bunny, both are full attack, have the Invulpirs, but instead of 10% quick, this one has a much more nice effect in 50% starting gauge. Oh yes. It is so generic, so usable, so nice. This is one of the best Invulpir CEs in the game, including gacha ones, honestly. It is definitely in that conversation. I would say nothing less than an A+, at least. I think it's between A+ and EX. It might just be, in my opinion, the highest deserving rank of all the Invulpir CEs, maybe. I would maybe even go less too far as to say that. It's close. But I might just drop it in A+ for now. It is still really good. That was Valentine's too, right? So wait, why was it in this slot? Are some of these a bit missed? This wasn't Halloween, right? I think some of these might be a bit misplaced, but it's fine. It's not like the order really matters too much. Also, it might have been that I accidentally slid some of these as well, but it is fine. It's fine. Anyway, oh yeah, we actually got to it, yeah, because it's Christmas too. We got the good version of the HNS. Not just Holy Night Sign this time, which was kind of subpar. Now we get the good one. Okay. Most people already know what's up, but still. The good old Drunk Jolter C, HNS. Full attack, 50% starting gauge, 50% crit damage, and 15% MP damage. Ooh, mama. Obviously still not the greatest trio effects, but man, that's a lot of stuff, man. That's a lot of stuff, and it's full attack. Like, oof. That is very, very solid, for sure. Yeah, this is certainly in the conversation for another EX tier CE. I could maybe see the argument to be placed it in A+, but I would kind of feel dirty not placing it in EX, honestly. But I don't know. It's tough. It's certainly a really damn amazing CE, though. Ay. Oops. This is a tough one. Like Sumo for crits and MP. Yeah, maybe honestly nowadays it could be an A+, honestly. We'll see. I might have to slide this down as well then, honestly. We might just do this. But if I do this, does that mean I have to move Summertime Mistress down? Is HNS better? I would argue that HNS is better. It's only a difference of 5% crit, and you get MP damage as well. I feel like HNS is better than Summertime Mistress, at least. Yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, but it's fine. We can adjust in the fly. When you have the comparison, it's there's a lot more stuff to think about, right? Obviously, yeah, if this was MP game, it would be one of the best Cs in the game, for sure, but, yeah. Okay, we'll slide Summertime down, yeah, I can agree with that. We'll do it like this for now, okay? We'll do it like this. I feel like this is alright. So far, we're back to just Kentucky ruling on the, EX side, huh? So be it. Oh, dude, more good CEs. Oh. We get a CE which name I will never attempt to even pronounce. Because it's French. We just call it the Arjuna CE, basically. Cool! So, if you don't know what the CE does, well, you should. Full attack, 50% starting gauge, and divine damage by 30%. It's a CE with a power mod, and a very, very solid power mod at that as well. Ooh, mama. Yeah, so many bosses are divine is such a commonly used CE if you have it. I love this CE, needless to say. It is just toppity tippers. For sure. I would say this is an easy EX. I don't see an argument to be made. Because it's such a common power mod, and it's just very good for the stats and the effects besides that as well. It is certainly an EX tier CE. Now, would I say, this is another thing to consider, because you can actually still get it, even if you didn't play the event, but if to MLB it, you would have to get 25 rare prisms. Would I say it's worth it? Hard to say, honestly. It's still niche after all. I'm not sure if that would be worth it for most people. If you have a lot of them, obviously, yeah, easy worth. But if you don't have a ton of RP, you might have some other stuff to buy instead, like Mystic Codes, etc. That might be worth more your time. So in that case, maybe not the worth it. But if you can afford it, then absolutely, yeah. Cool. Dude, I'm not even sure. I might be getting a migraine here. That sucks if that's true. I'm gonna keep going for a while, though. I'm not sure if I'm actually having an over right now. I knew it was bound to happen at some point, sooner than later, because I haven't had one in like 2 weeks. That kind of sucks. Dude, and today was a big day as well, so obviously there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, I think it might be an orb. I'm gonna keep going for a while, though. And if I don't manage to do it in one sitting, I might come back later today as well. Because I kind of want to finish this after taking a small rest. We'll see, though. Man, the timing sucks, though. I knew this was gonna happen. I fucking called it in my head. Alright, okay, we're back to some worse CEs, though, now. We got Castle of the Sun from GUDAO 2. Yeah, you know what? Let me actually take my meds. If it's only a small one, I might be able to push through. So I'm gonna start by taking some meds. Sometimes the migraine is small. Because I really want to do this list, man. Okay. Keep going for now, though. So Castle of the Sun, I don't like this C. I think it's pretty garbo. So if you, this is very similar to the, this is almost identical actually to the Go West CE. The only difference is that it has like crit damage. Was it otherwise MP damage on the Go West one? So yeah, it's split stats, star generation, 40% starting gauge. Is like, it's too all over the place. Just way, you would like never use this. I just don't see ever a reason to use this. I don't like the effects and its split stats, so it's just we just call it mega yikes. It is not good. So where, you know what, it's the same tier. They're almost identical. It's the same tier. You just decide if you want crit damage or if you want MP damage. In any case, you're not gonna get a great CE. So there you go. Cool. June, I can't do anything about the ads, bro. Literally, you can't have a stream without ads, bro. I'm sorry if you see ads, bro. I can't do anything about it. Okay, I shouldn't even comment on that because this is going on YouTube. But again, there's nothing I can do about them, man. It is what it is, bro. Blame Twitch. Anyway, next thing. Okay, he probably can't even hear me right now because he's probably watching ads. But okay. Then we got Wolves of Mibu, I believe, from GUDAO 2 as well. This one at least isn't as bad as this one. It's still not amazing though. This is definitely not amazing. But it's certainly at least usable compared to the other one. So it's full attack, and then you get a double effect. Is this the... Wait, I just realized. This is the first of the duo card types, right? I think? Unless I'm forgetting something. Yeah, okay. So for the free ones, it's the first duo one. So it's Buster and Quick Up 10% and 4 stars per turn. Now, a lot of the times you would prefer to have, you know, just one card type. Like, bigger percentage for one card type. In which case, Rainbow is the worst option and Duo is the less worse option. Sometimes Duo is fine, though, for sure. But, yeah. It is still full attack, and stars per turn kind of works with both Buster and Quick, because there tends to be a lot of servants that have crit focus under those card types. But I wouldn't say this is like a very amazing CE or anything like that. Yeah, I guess a bit of a value surge when Ruler Scotty is a thing for, you know, helping Buster crit damage as well. But not a huge deal, honestly. You still probably run something else. But a small bonus for Ruler Scotty. maybe like a B. I would say a B is pretty fair, just above average. That's about it. It's an okay CE. I did use it back in the day for a little bit, but then when I got better options as the game went on, I kind of stopped using it. But yeah, besides that, it's all right. Well, yeah, but okay, here's the thing, Ricardo. If you have a 20% rainbow effect versus 20% attack, you would probably obviously take the rainbow effect, but you gotta realize how the scaling works. You would never, like, if the attack up would just be higher, they would not make the rainbow effect the same number, because it's obviously better. So that's the reason I don't like this, because the more different card types you have, the smaller the percentage of the upgrade gets. So that's why it tends to, 99% honestly in cases, I would say a single card type CE buff is better than a duo, and especially better than a trio, because why would you not, like, let's say you have a servant with 3 arts cards and an arts MP. Why would I not just pick an arts CE? A rainbow would suck. I would get so much more out of a higher arts percent than a very low percent up for all of the card types, right? That's the main argument. Because you just prefer to have a more targeted thing for your servant, right? Okay, at this point, I'm pretty sure it's a migraine, but you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm gonna literally activate my real-life guts. I might be in pain, but you know what? Okay, it's definitely an aura going on right now, but I'm gonna fucking push through, okay? Unless it becomes unbearable, then I'm gonna go to bed. Okay. Dude, what a fucking bad timing, man. That sucks. I knew this. I knew it was... I was so overdue for a migraine, bro. And I knew it was gonna happen during a big stream as well. I knew it was gonna happen. God fucking damn it, dude. Anyway, I'm gonna push through, even if I can barely read right now. Do it for the content. Okay. Is it called Someday in Summer? I thought it was One Summer. Anyway, I guess it has 2 names, maybe. Okay, Someday in Summer. We get to CCC then. Yeah, this is a CE, huh? This is a pretty tragic one. It could be amazing, but they chose to make it not amazing. Like, effects-wise, 50% starting gauge, MP damage, quick up 10%, that's great. But then it's not even split stats, it's full HP. Bruh. Bruh. Why? You just ruined the CE in one simple step. Like, why would you do that, bro? That is so sad. And by this time, there weren't even that many good Quicks. Hell, nowadays, Quick still has the least options of all the card types, by the way. So this makes it even more tragic, still to this day. Wow. Just, obviously, we're going to see another CE later that is just, you know, you don't have to worry about this anymore, mostly. But it would have been nice if this CE was still good. It's kind of a tragedy. It could have been so good. It could have been so good. I think it's C, which is like below average. Maybe that seems a bit brutal, but it's not even split stats. And there's going to be a lot of their similar Cs anyway, and some of them are just way, way better. I would not really recommend using the C unless that's like all you have. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Summer too. Okay. What's the Clio C called? Seaside Luxury. It's an interesting C. Although it's one of these Star Generation ones. So it's full attack, that's cool. Stars per turn, yeah, that's nice. And then Star Generation. Oh, my voice is dying already. Anyway, like, the effects, I mean, obviously Star Gen is not a great effect, but they're like kinda combating each other. Like, stars per turn and Star Generation, like, pick one. You don't need both, honestly. Sure, it makes you get more stars, I guess, but it's I've never really liked the CE too much, honestly. Star Gen is such a weak effect. It's just such a weak effect, dude. If this was like something else instead of Star Gen, it could be a lot better. Like if it would be crit damage, it's the same as the Oni one. So it's just a much worse version of the Hot Springs Oni CE, basically. Yeah, I agree, George. That's not really a thing that people do a lot. It's either a D plus or a C. Maybe it's just a C. Because it's still... The full attack and stars per turn is nice, but Star Gen is just... It's a bit poopy. You know? It's just a bit poopy. Honestly, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna bump it down here. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's not good. It's just not that good. Now, a CE that used to be, like, very amazing until last year, arguably. Yeah, we got Dive to Blue from Summer 3. It's basically the same effect as Sometime in Summer, but for arts. But at least this one has split stats instead of full HP. Obviously, it would be cooler if it had full attack, but, you know, we're gonna see a CE later that is just like, okay, dude. So, effects-wise, is great. It's really good. Like, great effects, honestly. The only thing holding it down is split stats. But again, a certain CE later will kind of rectify this. I would still say Dive to Blue is not bad by any means, honestly. It is not a trash CE, even if that other thing exists nowadays. So I would place it in, like, B plus or A. One of these two for sure. Maybe even A, honestly. Is between these two. B is too low for it, I think. But you know what? Because, again, the other one is also free, I'm just gonna place it in B+. Because they're both free. If this was a gacha one, maybe I would have put them a bit closer to each other, honestly. Maybe they would be a bit more closer. But because, again, all of these are free, you can put way more emphasis in competition, I suppose. I'm just gonna put it in B+. Solid, but kind of outscaled by some other stuff nowadays. And we got, what is this? Like, three-legged race. There you go. Let's see. This is from, is this the next Nerofest? Wow. How about that? The next one. The music die? Oh my god, everything is going wrong today. Fucking great, dude. Okay. I didn't want to comment about the music because YouTube won't have any of this, but let me see. I want to listen to something at least while I'm doing this. Okay, maybe this works. I don't know. Dude, I can't even see half the thing. I'm literally half blind at this point because of the migraine aura. Anyway. Three-legged race. Full attack, it's a Guts CE, 1 time 1 HP Guts, and MP damage. Okay, we finally have a good Guts CE, actually. This is good. This is one of the better ones for sure, I would say. Absolutely. Would I say it's the best? No, probably not, honestly, no. But I do think it's really good. Of the Guts ones. But then again, Guts ones usually tend to be not the best Cs to begin with. So what's the best Guts C right now? Is it this one? I think it's this one. I would say it's better than this. So I would probably put it to at least B+, or maybe even A, honestly. Yeah. It is really damn good. For a Guts C. But I can't really put it higher than A, I think, because Guts is not the best effect for a CE usually. You're probably better off with some other CE effects. I might just leave it in A, though. And this might be some of the highest you will see in Guts Cs anyway in this list. Alright, I actually might have to take that break now. I don't even have the headache yet, but it's getting so hard to... I can't even read chat right now. The aura is getting so bad. I'm half blind at this point. I can't see half the shit. Okay, I guess for the context of the video as well, there was probably no pause for you guys if you're watching this later on YouTube, but I did just now go to sleep to rest for like an hour plus because I got a migraine, as you may have heard if you were listening in on this whole thing just now. So I am now back same day, just a bit later, looking to do the rest of this list now. What a bad timing for this classic migraine again. But yeah, in case you're watching this on YouTube, you probably had no pause between all this whatsoever, so, you know, you got that going for you. I guess the silver lining is that I got to rest my voice a bit. But, obviously, I would have preferred to just do this in one go. Oh well, at least the recording should still be fine. So we're gonna continue where we left off. I think last I did the three-legged race, I placed it in A, because I do actually believe... it is still probably on the better side, if not just the top side of all the Guts CEs out there. And I feel like that's a fair rating. So yeah, we're just gonna move on then. Yeah, quite a bit of CEs to go. Next up is it's still the same Nerofest, right? Cheer for Master. Yes, I remember this CE. So I believe this is now... the first rainbow effect. We saw the first duo card type effect earlier for the free ones, and this is the first rainbow effect. In fact, there's not even that many of these on the free side. These are kind of rare to begin with in like any type of C. So on split stats, we got a rainbow buff for 8% all colors and then 4 stars per turn. I was already talking about the card effects, whatever, during this sesh earlier. So yeah, I don't like rainbow effects. I mean, again, as an effect, it's good, but again, because you have the option to choose your own CEs, you would just prefer to pick a single card type in most cases, right? Because you get a higher card type up. Because you might have most servants have focus on like 1 or 2 card types, so 3 it's not really worth it to get a lower percentage of the actual card buff. That's what it boils down to. Like, it's awkward because rainbow, it's a nice effect, but still, because you would rather be a bit more specific, it's and also it's split stats, so I don't really know how to feel about this C. It's, again, this one of the C's that's, again, a definition of all over the place. Split stats, rainbow buff, and then stars per turns is like, it doesn't even know what it wants to be, honestly. It's a very weird C, but yeah, I agree, the art, at least, it looks kind of nice, I suppose. I think this one, I'm gonna maybe place it as C at most. I think it's below average. C at most, maybe even a D+, honestly. Yeah, I'll leave it a D+. It's similar to, I guess, this one, which is also 4 stars per turn. This one has a bad other effect on star generation, but at least this one is full attack, so they kind of break even, if anything. I just would not really recommend using this CE, honestly. Especially if you have any, you know, more specific CEs for your servants. So, yeah, Now, the next one, I don't even have to look at the name, obviously, because it's a very famous one. If I can spell, which I can't. We got Aerial Drive. Now, if this list was made like 2 years ago, I would immediately put this in EX. Immediately. Just no questions asked, this would be an EX free 5-star CE. But, as it so happens, they somehow found a way to power creep the CE. And also with another free CE, so that's kind of crazy. Wow, yeah. Anyway, what do we got for Aerial Drive, though, in case you don't know? We got full attack, great, buster up, MP damage 10% each, and 50% starting gauge. Like, that's a nice, beautiful package, though. Very, very good, nonetheless. But, especially because these are free CEs that we're looking at here, there's more emphasis on comparison, because you can get all of them if you just play. Also worth noting for Aerial Drive, and I guess for other Halloween Cs as well that I didn't even mention, is that maybe a small bonus for them, because they have been available for grabs for 3 times now. Because Halloween had that super rerun that included CEs of all of the events, including this one, so you have had 3 opportunities in JP as of this point to grab all the Halloween CEs. So maybe a small little bonus for them being a bit more easier to obtain. But, yeah. Also, the art is nice, obviously, but this is not an art list. Like, this would be an easy EX 2 years ago, but now, I feel like I should still place it in A+, though. But honestly, if you have the other one, which again, chances are you do, because it's also free, in 99% of the cases, you would pick the other one over this one. So, I don't know, what does that mean for this C? Should it be on A? I would kind of feel dirty to put it in A, honestly. So, I'm still probably going to put it into A+. Just because it's good, but if this was like if this was like fully emphasis on options, this would be much lower, because both are free and the other one is just better in like 99% of the cases. So I'm still gonna keep it an A+. I would feel too dirty to put it anywhere below that, because it's still an amazing C for effects, and you will see the C later. The only reason why it's not EX to this day. Still absolutely toppity tippers. Then we get to Christmas 3, I believe, the Aresh one. What is this called again? Merry Sheep. This was still, I remember this C being the lottery C of the time, and it wasn't really good for farming, because 0 starting gauge. And we're back to a duo card type, also nice art. At least we got full attack, that's cool, 4 stars per turn, not bad, but then it's a split between 10% for quick and arts up. Not that many servants where I would say this is a great option, honestly. Some, for sure, like Serenity herself, this is actually not that bad, funnily enough. But yeah, I don't know. It's the effects are just not that great. It's also very comparable to Wolves of Mibu. I agree, Jor. But I think this is maybe slightly weaker than Wolves of Mibu because I like stars per turn more on the Buster and Quick side. They usually have more crit focus. Although this side, it's stars per turn is also nice with arts because arts tends to have the worst star generation of the 3 card types, so it's a bit more valuable there as well. So, but even having said that, I still think Wolves of Mibu is slightly more usable than this. So since I placed Wolves of Mibu to B, I feel like this will go in the middle. It is just an average C, then unless I want to bump Wolves. Or maybe I can find an argument to make them the same tier. But I feel like it's slightly less used than Wolves of Mibu would be. So I feel like I should just put it here then. It's not a bad C, just like because of all the options, you just don't really see yourself ever really using it too much. But still an alright CE. For sure. So there's that. Then we're back to Sub-Oni CEs, Dressed for Demons. This one, was this this was Setsubun, right? I believe. Yeah, the first of the Tower events, actually. And this is a good CE. It's not like top tier, but I remember the CE being good. Obviously, one of the effects kind of makes it not amazing, but it's still like full attack, 50% starting gauge, 15% crit damage, but then you got the 50% star gen. So it's not as good as some of the other ones we've already even seen and some of the ones we'll be seeing later, but honestly, not bad. It's still, of all the CEs that have star generation so far, this is by far the best of all of them. And I would agree with Jord, like, even though you think that 15% crit damage and 15% star gen, that sounds better than just 20% crit damage, which is the difference to Summertime Mistress, I would still say Summertime Mistress is also better. I would take 5% more crit over 15% star gen in most cases. So, yeah, so because I place Summertime Mistress in A, I will just slot this into B+. Is good, but you probably have better options, including like HNS, Summertime Mistress, and some other ones we'll be seeing later for sure as well. Just an alright C. If anything, that might be like top 3 star gen having CEs of all time though. So there's that. Still doesn't really make it amazing, but you know, of all the Cs that do have that, you know, not so great effect, is definitely one of the better ones. Then we got the Valentine's C for that year. Valentine's 3, right? Sweet Days. Funnily enough, this was before either Bazette or Karen were in the game, in the same CE. So, on split stats, we got another duo effect. You can tell they start doing a lot of these ones now. Yeah, so duo, Buster, Arts up 10%, and 4 stars per turn. So yet again, another one of these, but this one is even worse than Wolves of Mibu and Merry Sheep because it is split stats. So, yeah, pretty forgettable in my opinion. Just very, very forgettable. If anything, yeah, again, carried by the art. But effects-wise, there's not really much to say about it. Even so far, and we still have so many Cs to go, but even so far, we've seen so much better stuff already. This is just super forgettable. Like, there's really no reason to bring this C. So it's even worse than Merry Sheep. C might be okay, but I'm honestly kind of want to slot it into D+. But to be honest, I'll put it into C because I think it's still better than Sheer for Master. Because I still think a duo effect tends to be easier to use than a rainbow effect. So it's just ever so slightly better than Sheer for Master. But still worse than Merry Sheep and still worse than Wolves of Mibu as well. So that's about that for that C. Ooh, this is one of my all-time favorites, honestly. I've always been a big advocate for this CE. Is it heading? Okay, yeah, I actually remember both of the names. So we got at Triffus, but I assume it's also called heading towards Triffus. So this is a cool-ass CE. First of all, full attack, MP gain 15%. Yeah, in fact, wait, have we even... Wait a minute, I just realized, of all the free 5 stars, is this the first one to have MP gain? That's it, I didn't expect this to be the first one, but I guess it might be, unless I'm misremembering so far. Okay, well that's cool at least. And then crit damage 15% as well, and 4 stars per turn. It's a great trio of effects, honestly. Oh yeah, the Guts one. No, there was the Guts one. You're right, the Nightingale one. What's that called again? Like Chaldea Lifesavers. That one. Yeah, you're right. It's not the first one to have MP gen of these, but still, this in here it's much better placed because stars per turn is great for both crits, for crit damage as you can see, and for MP generation, because if you crit with arts or quick, your gains tend to go up quite a bit depending on your servant as well. So in my opinion, that is a very tight package of 3 effects. Pretty good stuff, and full attack just makes it, you know, very good. So now the question is, where will I place this? I do love this CE though, but how good is it nowadays? I'm not sure if I will be placing this to EX though. I feel like it's one of the A's for sure. I can't even put it. A is a minimum. It's either A or A plus in my book. Maybe a personal bias, but I kind of want to put it to A plus, honestly. It's so good. It's like so good. I mean, you're not wrong, Allison. You're saying Like a Bird is better, but Like a Bird is only better for Buster. That's the difference. This one actually has more usage outside of Buster servants as well, because that MP gain is good for like crit servants that are not Buster that potentially had good gains as well. Someone like Lancelot Saber, for instance, who has a lot of crit focus, but also can have really good gains for his MP as well. So I feel like that it's a fair counter argument because it's so not specific. It has so much more use cases. Even if Like a Bird, yes, it's better for Buster servants. So there you go. Cool. Very, very good CE. I have that level 100 on both servers, I think, actually. For a good long while now. It's good. Love it on Liangyu. Yeah, for her, it would be great as well, honestly. I can see that, yeah. Now, sadly, the second... Actually, were both of these? No, okay. Yeah, there were only 2 ones. So the second free APOC CE is pretty damn forgettable, okay? Like this CE, like everyone just talks about Atrophy for a good reason. This one is just, this is a yikes, I'll just say it. Like the effects are not bad in Buster and Arts 15% with MP damage 15%, but then you realize it's full HP and you just immediately throw it in the bin. Like, that's just, it's the same case with One Summer. You just bin it basically because you have way better options. Unless you don't, then I feel sad for you. But yeah, you just, it's full DPS like effects. Well, obviously arts can still be good for supports as well, but it should not have full HP. It's just forget about it. It's just not a CE you would really ever use. Very sad. This one is D or a D plus. I want to put it into D, honestly. I just don't see a reason to ever use it. If it was split stats, maybe here, but because it's I think it's worse than Cheer for Master, so I won't put it into D. At least this one has split stats. So I'm just going to put it into D. It is still one of the weakest of all these DPS 5-star Cs we've seen. And it's like year 3, so that's really sad when you think about it. All of these other ones are really old. Now, we're gonna get a slight improvement here. It's also a very similar C, but still nothing like amazing. This is very... I remember this being like red and blue as well, right? Pretty sure it is for effects. This is from GUDAO 4, right? Oh no, GUDAO 3. Don't get ahead of yourself. So we got split stats now with the Buster and Arts on 15%, and instead of MP damage, we have crit damage. Very, very similar CE, okay? But still, considering you have all the other options... especially at this point, also very forgettable. It is what it is. It's a shame because the art looks quite lovely, even to someone like me who's not even a huge Medusa fan, but still, like, effects-wise, it's like, I hardly ever see anyone use this. For someone like Emiya, it can be okay because he likes these effects, but again, there's better options because this is just split stats. You would prefer to have that full attack. So this one is either a D plus or a C. I guess it's very comparable to Sweet Crystal, I guess, I think is... No, this is not... I forgot what this is called. Sweet Crystal is the Invulpier's one. So I'm just going to put in the same tier as that one. Just pretty forgettable. Not completely wasted, but just forgettable. And then we have an interesting one. Don't even have to check that name because I know it very well. We have Painting Summer from Summer 3 at this point. No, 4 actually. Yeah, I can do math. Okay, 4. Okay. Painting Summer. Very, very interesting. So, Obviously, the effects are amazing. We have Arts Up and MP Generation 10% with Star Engage 50%. That's an amazing trio effects. Like, so spot on. Just very dreamy. The only drawback is that it splits stats, so it could still be better, okay? And because of a certain other MP gain related farming CE, which is also free, that's pretty new still, that we'll see later, I feel like this has lost a bit of value. So here's the thing, for your arts loopers on the free side, your options tend to be the upgraded version of One Summer if you have enough gains to loop. That's just better for damage. Straight up Black Rail if you don't need to start engage. Or if you do need more gains, you're probably not going to run this, rather the other one that I'm going to talk about later. Although this has a bit more damage, I suppose. So maybe in some really rare cases for very specific servants, this could be ever so slightly better than the other one with MP gain, with Start Engage. That's going to appear much later. But I have a lot of good memories with this CE, at least. It is still not a bad one. Sadly, just weighed down by, you know, other options. I feel like I'm going to place it into A, though. Painting Summer, that trio effects is still very, very solid. Only thing has just held back down is the stat line and the other options. But yeah, to this day, still a very, very solid C. If you've ever seen some of my support review Sundays, it tends to be a C I recommend a lot as well, because it's very accessible and it just does the job. It's not the best at what it does, but it does a good job. Just gonna leave it on A. Then we got Lady Foxy, right? Yes, also the same event. Now, these other Cs, some of them are actually alright. This one in particular is not good, I can tell you that much. I still to this day wonder what was in their head when they designed this CE. So we got full HP, cool, MP gauge per turn. Okay, so far it would be like so good, right? Full HP, MP gauge per turn, that screams like a really good support CE. Damage cut, okay, we can live with that. Maybe not the best support stat usually for tanks, but it's still fine. But then the weird thing happens is that it has 20% MP damage. I don't understand. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. Like, if it was HP, gauge per turn, and then maybe some other cool effects for, like, supporting options, it would be really good. But what is this massive MP damage? It is like so misplaced. Yeah, call it the Jinako C. It's funny because, you know, she's like half tank, half DPS. But even then, I would never use this on Jinako either, to be honest. I would not really use this on anyone. It's just such a weird CE, dude. Such a weird CE. I just can't really recommend this to anyone, really. Even Jinako. You definitely have better options. Such a weird CE. I think I might just place it in the whites here. Maybe it's a bit savage, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's the most... I'm placing it here because the design is so stupid. It's not as bad as, like, Threefold Barrier or whatever. That's clearly worse. But it just makes no sense to me, and I can't really ever see myself using it. So I'm just going to place it there because of the really weird design on the gameplay side. Oh, well. But then we actually go back to a fairly okay C, and I believe this is actually the first one of the welfare ones in this list to feature Sure Hit. We have seen Invul Pierce already, but this one has Sure Hit. Now, obviously, Invul Pierce is just flat out better because it also ignores evasion, so, you know, keep that in mind. But we have full attack, Sure Hit, and 20% crit damage with 4 stars per turn. It is a very, very solid, generic, non-card type like included is Sure Hit CE for crit DPSs. It is very niche when I say all that, obviously, and considering it's sure Invul Pierce is just flat out better as well, so you have those Cs to think about it as well when you're going anti-evade. But nonetheless, it's I like the effects. They do make sense, and it's very, you know, again, because it's not tied to a card type, you can run this on a lot of different servants. I don't mind. I think it's a good option for a Sure Hit CE. If it was Invul Pierce, it would be quite a bit better, because then it could compete with some of those other ones we saw already. But yeah, I would say it's a good CE for crits. So what's the how big is the difference compared to the Oni Springs C? Because that's that's the biggest comparison, right? The Oni Springs was 25% crit damage minus the sure hit, right? Besides that, they're identical, I believe, right? I still think the Oni C is better, where I placed it in A. So honestly, or A plus rather. So I'm just gonna move this to A. I think it's an easy A in that case, honestly. I do think this has more use because again, even if you need sure hit, you might run Invul Pierce anyway, but it's still a very usable CE. It's good stats, like full attack, and effects make sense. So yeah, that's a good one. So it's interesting. In one event, we had 2 very solid Cs and 1 C that makes no sense. Is this going on YouTube? Yes, it is. I'm probably going to upload it overnight, so it's probably on YouTube a day later. I believe next up we have a Gut CE once again. We got Return Match, or Grudge Match, I think it's called in NA or something like that. Yes, indeed. Full attack, 1 HP Guts 1 time, and then crit damage. So again, it's super comparable to the 3-legged race we saw earlier, which instead of crit damage, it is 20% MP damage. That's the only difference. Both, I believe, Narrowfest Cs as well, so you know the theme makes sense. But hey, at least they finally started making good Gut CEs, because the first 2 were complete garbo. Now we at least have 2 actually very usable ones. Yeah, for someone like Hijikata is good, even the MP damage one is good. Like, it depends on your servant. But I feel like, because I did move it to A, I feel like both should be on the same tier. They're very comparable, like super solid. Of all the Gut Cs, they're definitely on the like top side of all the Gut Cs out there. I don't think any Gut C will really go higher than an A though, but I think these are like among the best, so I feel like A is pretty fair for both 3-legged race and Grudge Match, honestly. Pretty much, you know, as good as you can get for like DPS Gut Cs. Now, this is from this same event, right? This is the lottery CE, yeah. This one was awkward for me. This one was like double card type or something. And like split stats or something, I think. Yeah, split stats, arts and quick 10%, and MP damage 50%. Yeah, this is a yikers. You put me the link for that one? Oh, because it was hard to search. And anyway, I found it anyway, but thanks. Yeah, this is not good, huh? This is just, it's very comparable to some of the ones we saw just earlier with those double card type effects with split stats. So it's, again, just very forgettable. The only reason you used this was during the lottery because it gave you the bonus, right? Besides that, I don't think I've ever used the C. Just never used it. Oh yeah, this was the lotto where you get both drops of this and the Gut C we just saw. It was double chances. So getting the max bonus for lottery was even harder. I remember that. Coin flips for CE drop. Quick plus arts is probably the worst color buff combo. I kind of agree, yeah. It's very awkward in most cases. So it's gonna go down to either here or here. I feel like it's still better than Afternoon, even if it's a worse card type, just because it's split stats. I'm just gonna place it in D+. Very, very forgettable. Now, speaking of Cs that are not forgettable, though, we got Royal Icing next, Oniland time. Let's go. Now, here's a good CE, at least. Full attack, 15% arts up, and 25% MP damage. Just very, very good. It's basically a bit worse version of Smiling Face, but Smiling Face is a premium CE because it's gacha, so this is basically as good as it gets on the free side. Still very noteworthy though, obviously. Definitely a great CE. Now, in a lot of cases, you'll probably still run something like Black Rail if you're going to go from 0 for something like these effects, but still, good CE, I would say. Lots of use cases for DPS and then even for looping in some cases. I would say this is A+. I'm very close to putting into A, but I'm just going to put it into A+, honestly. I don't think I can really put it into EX. Even if it might be, like, of the non... Like, if you're going to go with the free ones and the ones that have 0 starting gauge, this is probably the best one, honestly. Still to this day. It just might be the best one of the free ones. But still, I feel like I'm just going to put it into A+. I'm going to put the starting gauge one that is the best one later into EX probably. You know what I'm talking about if you're up to date with JP stuff. But this one, I think I'm just going to drop it into A+. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, Jordan. It is, yeah, it is the best of the free ones. So you know what? Honestly, yeah, okay. Because this list should not be compared to the premium ones. It would look a bit different. I feel like it can be barely slot in there. Because it is the best zero starting gauge artsy of the free ones. It really is. Surely it is, right? Yeah. Don't remember any other that will be as good as this. So you know what? Okay. Because it's the free list. There you go. Boom. Ooh, but then the other Oniland CEs, though, are pretty damn forgettable. Okay, starting with 3 anglers. This is the worst of the 3 as well. Okay, 3 anglers. This is one of those cases where it's really tragic, because honestly, the trio effects is really good, and there's so much stats. 15% quick up, 15% MP damage, 50% crit damage. How lovely, like those are amazing values, and a pretty good synergy between them as well. But then it's full HP once again. Why do they ruin some of these CEs? It is tragic. Like, that's actually really good for effects. It's so sad. It's such an offensive CE, but then the stat goes full defensive. Why would you do this, man? It is so sad. Just very, very sad. Ay, ay, ay. I still almost want to put it into C, though, just because of how good the effects are. But it's still below average because of the stat line kind of ruining it. Ay, ay, ay. Quick needs way, like, better CEs. I'm just gonna slide into C. Then we got the Frozen Warbear. Now, this is the Buster one of the CEs. This one is, like, kind of in the middle. It's not amazing, it's not horrible, it's just very forgettable. It's another Ignore Invul C. It's the same as Decapitating Bunny, 10% for the card type, but at least Decapitating Bunny was full attack, whereas this is split stats. So, get that 10% Buster over the quick. It's just a worse version, I suppose. Not much to say about it. It's an okay option for Invul Pierce, but besides that, not that good. So where did I place Decapitating Bunny is B+, so I feel like I can still put this into B. It's just above average as an option, but that's about it. Just above average. But worse than Decapitating Bunny, because at least that one is full attack. Yeah. Okay. Moving along here. Wow, 3 rows to go. Then we got Christmas stuff, I believe. This was the Wrestling Christmas. We got Holy Maiden's Teaching. I believe this is a Star Bomb. Is this this is now the second Star Bomb from this list, right? Following Gold and Carp. There was a big pause between them, it seems. Okay. Yeah, we might look at that later, Jord, if anything. It is true. Now, full attack, cool. And then you get Buster and Quick Up by 10% with 20 Star Bomb, the standard for 5-star Cs. It's alright, actually. It's not bad. Obviously, single card type, you probably prefer that over the duo. But full attack is still there, and it's like basically offensive stats anyway. Certainly doesn't compare to Gold and Carp. But by no means a terrible CE, I suppose. Since this is the second Star Bomb, and the only other one is placed on EX, this is a hard comparison. How much value do I really put on the Star Bomb? It's a nice effect, but it's not the best effect out there. Feel like this is like a B or a B+. One of the Bs. It's not that good in comparison, honestly. Feel like it's just above average. Maybe I'll start with B+, because we still don't have a lot to compare to. But again, when I place more Star Bombs later, we might adjust. This is just a second one, so not much comparison yet. Then we got, this is the New Year's one, right? Yes, this is another rainbow effect, huh? Pretty sure it is. This is the rainbow starting gauge one. Silver Glittering Snow Goddesses, the Enmate CES. So it's split stats, rainbow for 8% and then 50%. So again, this is literally the jack of all trades. But honestly, not in a good way compared to like the Iskandar CE in my opinion. This is a bit more awkward to use than that one. But it's still very similar, all things considered. This just has less value for supports compared to the Iskandar one. You would mainly just use this on DPS, and even then, it's never going to be an amazing option. It is a filler CE in my opinion. It's a placeholder for something better. That's it. That's pretty much it. It's never going to be top tier for anyone. So since I put the Iskandar one on A, I feel like this is still considerably worse despite somewhat similar. I feel like it's like a B then. It's B. It's like a B. I feel like there's a tier in between them for sure. A lot of people are saying C+. I feel like this is still a fine C. It's a nice placeholder. So it's just ever so slightly above average, if anything. I could put it here, but maybe then I should put down the Iskandar C to B+ then, honestly. Because I don't want them to be 1.5 tiers between each other. Maybe I'm just going to slide this down to B+ then, honestly. Yeah, you know, I might just do that instead then. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we're going to move this to, like, here. So yeah, this one goes down a bit, but this one is just average. It's an average C placeholder. Ooh, now we have a nice one though. We got Beautiful Dreamer. A lot of people have bad memories about this C because it was only ever available once, like every other Valentine's C, sadly. And you needed a drop to MLB this, so if you didn't get a drop, that was your only chance. So, kind of sad, because it's a great CE. Full attack, buster up 10%, MP gain 10%, 50% starting gauge. Is great for a lot of servants, for sure. Servants like Ereshkigal, Gilgamesh, Ozymandias, if you're not running like Origin Bullets. A lot of good busters, servants that have decent gains for sure can easily use this. Like Yvonne is good for this as well. Many other good options as well. Great C for sure. I feel sad for the people that didn't get the MLB because it's actually very nice. Feel like we're looking at an A+ here. Because in Buster, you tend to not need the MP gain as much as like the other card types. I feel like it's more valuable for arts and quick, especially for arts. But it's still a very good C. I think A+ is pretty fair. Still, like I would say, top 5 of the free Buster 5-star CEs. Very good. Ooh, and now another Star Bomb. This is the Oku one, I believe. Gilding the Lily. What a weird name. I totally forgot what the name was. Okay. This one is probably the worst so far. Split stats, double card type it arts and quick like the Martha one, and then 20 stars. And it's not only is the combination of the colors worse than the Martha one, this is also split stats. So this is definitely the worst option of the two. But you know what? It's still a Star Bomb, so it's not completely useless. But if you do have the other ones, probably not really gonna run this too much. Let's be real. Just very forgettable. As sad as it is. So because this was on B+, this is C+ at most, I feel like. Maybe a C+. Maybe it's average. Maybe a C. I don't know. I would definitely use the Martha one way more than this. So I think this is alright. Unless I want to bring Martha down and bump both of them down as well. Besides Gold and Carp, there's still not that many great Star Bomb options. Although we haven't seen the other really good one as well. You know what? Because there's still 2 other ones that are really good, I feel like I can bump them down both like this. This is fine, right? I think this is fine. There's still at least 2 really, really good Star Bombs in the game, so... And they're free, of course. So Martha is now a B, and this is a C. Okay, so I feel like that makes sense. Pretty cool. So this is just below average, and this is just above average. There you go. Ooh, now a CE I actually really like. It's the Case Files one. A bit of bias because of the you know, art as well, but this is actually a great CE. I know Jord will disagree with me on this one, because he doesn't like one effect here, but we got full attack, 10% art sub, 10% MP generation, and 4 stars per turn. Not like a perfect trio combination of effects, but very good. And remember earlier I said stars per turn tends to have the most value with arts, because arts as a card type just has the worst star generation to begin with, so I value it quite high on arts myself. Now, the counter argument could be made that usually arts servants have the least crit focus of all the card types as well, but at least, even if you don't have the crit focus, you at least get the gains benefit for your MP gain, right? From critting, so it's still very good, and considering this has both arts up and MP generation, and full attack, I still think it's very, very good. Someone like First Emperor, for instance, actually, this C is very good for him. Although, yes, the values are not super high because this still holds up quite a bit of weight, the 4 stars per turn. So it's another one of those arguments to be made, I suppose. It's definitely one of the A's for sure. Now the question is, which one is it? I think a lot of people, I think chat is like almost unanimously agreeing on A. I might go with that as well. I do love this CE though. Yeah, honestly, yeah, A is fair. A is fair. Still a very good one. Probably better off with Royal Icing in most cases. For 0 starting gauge Art CE for the free ones, but still a very good one. Now, this is GUDAO 4, Heavenly Demon Princess, is it? Is that what it's called? Oh, no, I skipped one. Army marches on his stomach. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, here we go. That was Tenkime that I was just talking about. So we got this one first. This one, from what I remember, very forgettable. I don't think I've ever used to see. And now I can see why. Yeah, okay. Split stats. Again, the awkward duo of arts and quick 50% and crit damage 50%. It's just... Usually, if you have that combination of stuff as well, if you're not someone like Liang Yu, even the crit damage just doesn't really make too much sense. Like, she's like the only servant that might actually have some use out of this from the top of my head. It's just awkward. There's now no real big use for this CE, honestly. Very, very forgettable. So, it's probably another D+. It's very, very comparable to this one, the CKT, so I'm just gonna leave it there right next to it. It's just super forgettable. Not good. And then, here we go. Tenkihime time. Heavenly Demon Princess. Okay, I feel like a lot of people overrate the C, though. It's not, like, that amazing. It's good, but it's not, like, broken good. But we got full attack, MP damage 15%, arts crit damage 20%, and starting gauge. I feel like a lot of people do overrate the C quite a bit, though. I still think it's a very good C, nonetheless, but it's not, like, top tier. Definitely not top tier. Like, it's just flat out worse than, like, HNS, in my opinion. It really is. It's just more, like, more specific, but doesn't really get any better. So, yeah, Yeah, it's good. Also, for people running this on Spishstar, I see a lot of people doing that. It's fine, but honestly, you should have probably way better options than that. I don't know, I think it just started as a trend that someone started doing it and then everyone else started doing it. I see this so much on Spishstars on my support lists. Like, again, it's not a bad option for her, but you could do probably a lot better than that, especially JP, considering the art C we haven't seen yet. You could do so much better. It's alright, though. It's definitely alright. It's a good C. I feel like it's just A. It's definitely worse than HNS, but it's not bad by any means. It's just an A rank C in my opinion. Good, but not amazing. Yeah, the lack of any other 50% full attack Cs, yeah, probably that. Yeah. Good for many arts critters though, but even then there's not a big list of those. Then we got Midsummer Memories, also from the same summer event. This one, I believe, also not great. Like double card type split. Oh, it's actually full attack, but yeah, double card type in Quick and Buster, MP damage 15%, full attack. So very comparable to Wolves of Mibu, huh? Instead of stars per turn, you have MP damage. Which one would you prefer? I might prefer stars per turn with these two. Oh wait, it's not full attack, I'm blind, it's literally full HP. Okay, definitely not comparable to Wolves of Mibu then. Okay, yeah, that's a yikes. That's mega yikes. So now it's comparable to the Siegfried Seed from APOC, which is not good. So never mind. Okay, it's not really good at all then. It's just gonna go right there next to it. Okay, unfortunate. Very, very, it's literally the same CE, but for like Buster and Quick instead of Buster and Arts, right? Meh. Okay, next one. Jewel Bride. Was this Narrow Fist as well? I assume it would be. Is this a Gutsy? I don't remember this really well. It is. Oh, now I remember why it's forgettable. Okay, split stats, 1 HP, 1 time Guts, and damage cut for 400. I suppose suppose this could be okay for some tanks. But I don't know, you probably have better options anyway, even among free stuff. I don't know. And that's it. I would never use this on anyone besides tanks. And even then, again, not even a top tier option for something that's pretty niche. So they went to good gutsies after the first two, for the next two, and then they went back towards the worst side. So every time there's a narrow fest, it's like a coin flip. Okay, Is it comparable to Star of Artoria? Maybe. It's probably the same tier, just a D+. Just not great. Just an okay tank option, and that's it. And that means your tank also probably should have a stackable guts as well, which doesn't help. Moving on, the second C from the same event is Scenic Beauty. I believe this was the lottery CE. Yes, and this I believe is Buster and Arts, right? Yes, and it's actually full attack. And oh, it's a Star Bomb, right? So it's 10% Buster and Arts with Star Bomb, full attack. Okay, so this is like basically the same one as the Martha one, but for different card types, I suppose. That's the only difference, right? Martha one was Buster and Quick, and this is Buster and Arts. Otherwise, both are Star Bomb and full attack. So it should be in the same tier, honestly. I don't really consider red and blue and red and green that big of a difference if everything is the same values-wise to do like a big difference. So I'm just going to place it also in the B tier. Pretty much interchangeable depending on your needs, I would say. So there you go. Obviously, yeah, I do think Arts is better than Quick, but since that's such a small difference, you're probably going to pick it for the Star Bomb anyway. So it really doesn't hold that much weight, in my opinion, in this case. Just going to place them both over there. And yeah, I guess for the counter argument, what Jordan said is for crits, Quick is still better than Arts. So, you know, tomato, tomato. Then we got Saber Wars 2 C, starting off with Twin Star Divas. I remember this C having great effects, but held down a little bit by split stats, I believe. It's another MP gain C, right? Yes, indeed. Okay. So MP gain 15%, MP damage 15%, and stars per turn. Actually not a bad trio of effects again. But because of the split stats, and we've already seen Cs that have similar stuff but are way better, like this is just a much weaker version of Atrifus, in my opinion. You change the MP damage to crit damage and you get full attack. Yeah, Atrifus is just definitely better than this in most cases. Still okay. MP generation, obviously, a bit better synergy with MP damage than crit damage, but because of the split stats, I would still say it is definitely weaker. Budget looping C, yeah, I suppose. So, since Atrifus is a very strong A+, I think this is a B+. I think this is a B+. It's actually alright. You could absolutely use the C, but if you have like Atrifus, you'd probably use that instead. I'm putting in a full tier lower than that. Oh, C is way too low for that, okay? I would never put that in C. At most, I would do it to B. Nothing less than a B for that C, for sure. Maybe it's B then, but okay, I will not place it below B. B under B would be a crime, honestly. Would be too much of a crime. Okay, then the other one, we got Bestia Del Sol. Again, probably not even pronounced correctly, but I can't type. Okay, this one actually all right, I think, because this was full attack, right? With red and green and crit damage, right? Yes, indeed. So we got red and green, 50% crit damage, and full attack. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's a good synergy between the effects because both Buster and Quick tend to have the most crit focus of the card types in the game. Decent values, totaling 30% offensive stats, and it's full attack. It's actually good. You would still probably prefer it to be like Buster or Quick straight up. But I guess with the addition of Summer Scotty, the combination of these two is not bad, honestly. It helps in this combination becoming a bit better as well. So, what is a comparable C to this, I wonder? There should be something that is... I guess, yeah, it's comparable to Joint Recital, right? Which is just Buster and crit damage. I think it's just under that, though. So I'm going to place it in A. I think Joint Recital is a bit better. He sees a lot more use because it's more specific. But you can absolutely find use for this CE as well. Yeah. I think this is a pretty fair placement. 2020? You mean this C? Or do you mean... Oh, you meant... Oh, yeah, you mean Joint Recital. Yeah, yeah. That's another reason why it's better to have a single effect, because you tend to get more, you know, higher numbers. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on A. Still good. Ooh, and then we got the good one. Finally, the promised land of Quick is here. Okay, Traces of Christmas. Finally, we're gonna see a really good Quick CE. Okay. I hyped this CE for so long in my support review Sundays, way before this lottery even happened. I always recommend this for Quick Servants because it's so accessible, so great. Full attack, quick up, MP generation 10%, starting gauge 50%. This is literally the looping quick CE, right? If you can do it with, like, you know, more damaging CEs, this is the one you're gonna use. So I would say it's like one of the easiest EXs in this list. It's just is there. You're gonna need that for looping a lot of quick servants, needless to say. You're not going to need it necessarily, but it's going to be the best option, let's just say. It might not be the only option, but in a lot of quick looping cases, it will be the best option. You don't have that? Well, if you're an NA player, that event is getting a rerun this year, so you can get it still. Don't worry about it. If it's HNS, so is it, or if it's HNS should be. I don't think that's a good argument. This is the best quick looping CE if you need the starting gauge, while as HNS is not the best MP damage CE, nor the best crit damage CE, pretty much in every case. It is an amazing CE, but I feel like nowadays, with all the options, is hardly ever the best case scenario, whereas this one is the best case scenario in so many cases. Even, like, it says a lot when it's the best case scenario in a lot of cases, even over gacha CEs. Like, that's crazy. This is a free-ass CE, right? That's absolutely crazy. So I would say it's definitely a fair comparison like that. That's why HNS is not up there. Might change my mind later, but for now, I think it makes sense for this to be higher, if anything. This has way more uses. I mean, this has a lot of use as well, but the thing is, while this also has a lot of uses, it's just more best case scenarios. Anyway, then we got a CE that Jord really likes, mostly because of the art. Don't remember this CE being particularly amazing, no. But let's see, yeah, already split stats, huh? 50% MP generation. You also have MP per turn and then stars per turn, yeah. So honestly, I think this is not bad for sub-supports. You could absolutely run. In fact, maybe I should start recommending this as a budget option if you don't have your Prisma Cosmoses, your 2030s, and other really good ones. It could be a budget option for your supports. But even if you have like non-MLB Prisma Cosmos or non-MLB 2030, just one copy, you might still want to run those instead for your supports. But you know what? It's definitely, you know, not a bad CE. These effects make sense for your supports, even if it's like not super high. Not bad. I wish it was full HP, honestly, instead, in this case. I think I'm going to place this in B+. If it was full HP, I would probably do A, honestly. But I feel like with splits, I'm gonna put it just in B+. You could totally run it on a support though, but you might have easily better options. So that's about it. Just have an MLB Prism. Again, I would probably use a non-MLB one over this as well. It's still 8%. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's over double the MP gain or MP per turn this gives. Okay, then moving on, we got Knit to Love. So what was this again? Was this sure hit? Maybe this is a sure hit one. Yeah, it is. Okay, probably pretty forgettable. Split stats, sure hits, MP damage, and starting gauge. Like if you have Sweet Crystal, you would probably never run this. Because it has Invul Pierce, 50% starting gauge. You don't get the MP damage, but you do have full attack as well. And Invul Pierce is just straight up better than Sure Hit as well. So if you have the other free option, which is Sweet Crystal MLB, you would probably never run this, honestly. So that doesn't help its case, I suppose. And for sure hits, I would honestly maybe find a way to run the Jinkei CE instead from Summer 3. It actually had a pretty okay set of effects and full attack. Yeah. And I believe there's another new sure hit CE with starting gauge later that's even better than this. I believe it's... I think it's this one with this Okita art one. We'll see it sooner than later. I'm gonna place this in C+. It is average. It's just average. You can use it, but chances are you'll just have better effects or better options, so it's average, and that's about it. Then we got the Voyager CE titled Looking Up at the Starry Sky. This one mostly held back by split stats, I believe, from what I remember. So quick up 10%, MP generation 10%. So you got the same effects as Traces, but you changed the 50% starting gauge to 4 stars per turn. And you lose the full attack to split stats. That's a downgrade and a half, honestly. As much as I love stars per turn, I would probably not trade 50% starting gauge and full attack for that. Yeah, it's that's not a great trade-off, honestly. It's like so much worse than Traces in most cases, even for outside of looping. For DPSing, I'd probably pick Traces still. Cool art though, yeah, very, very peaceful. So it's comparable, I guess, to the Ku CE, the shitty one from like this one. This is full HP. It's definitely better than that. Probably at least a full tier better. I'm gonna slot it into probably B, just above average. Mostly because, again, Traces is a thing. And if anything, it's above average still because Quick still has the worst options for all the CEs. Arts and Buster has way more options, so I would place it above average because of that as well. Still quick lacking in those CE options. They should do something about that. Give us like the Ocean Flyer that is Quick. That would be awesome. Or something else. Oh, here we go. Okay, I bet a lot of people have been waiting for this. We got Hide Hunter, right? We got 2 CEs from Summer 5. This is definitely the one that everyone talks about. No, I mean, honestly, the other one is, you'll see later. It's not hopeless, but this is the one. Not only does this have, in my opinion, the sexiest art of all the CEs in the game, and that says a lot, because, you know, for instance, there's a lot of good ones, like the Kama one, but this one, #1 in my book. So that's a great thing as well. Not gonna factor that into the placement, but I just want to mention that. So this is the other great star bomb we were talking about. First of all, full attack, then 20% MP getting crit damage. Wow, you'd think that it wouldn't have a star bomb when these are both 20%, right? But somehow they slotted it in anyway. It's kind of a crazy amount of stuff you get, honestly. Kinda crazy. Like, I'm not so sure why it has a star bomb on top of these two already having 20%. That's kind of nuts. And it's full attack. For you Van Gogh enjoyers, this tends to be the one that people run on solo, as far as I know. So if you're, you know, prepping for Van Gogh, maybe level this CE, because if you're an NA player, you should have this already. And for many others, it's also good. Yeah, mostly this is going to be compared to Atrifus, I feel like. But it still has higher numbers, which is the crazy part. You're just going to be trading the stars per turn to this. But in a lot of cases, it's probably worth the trade-off to get higher numbers on the MP generation and crit damage. Because I believe Atrifus is 15% each. I feel like I could place it into EX. I feel like I could put it a plus above Atrifus, honestly. It is that good. It is really damn good. And the bomb gives you that extra start, I suppose, yeah. It is damn good. It is very good, yeah. This and Golden Carp are easily, bar none, the best, like, Star Bomb CEs in the game. Definitely have different uses, but they are the best of the Star Bomb CEs. Yeah. Yeah, a trick or treatment is very similar, but it's a gacha C, so I can't really do a comparison there. It just doesn't have the stars, but it has it has the same effects, but a bit higher than that. But yeah, for free stuff, this is easily there, yeah. For sure. Then we got, I believe, Chainsaw of the Dead. This is an interesting CE. I think the CE is a bit underrated, honestly. It's definitely not EX tier or top tier or anything like that, but I feel like this is a bit underrated. This is actually a very legit support CE. First of all, full HP, so that's great for your supports. Arts up for most supports, that's good. It's the card type of their choice. And then 10% crit resistance. Actually, not a thing you should ignore. That can be good. And then 50% starting gauge. Obviously, if you know your battle is gonna be like slow, then maybe you have better options. But the 50% starting gauge means that if you know the battle is not super long, this is very legit. Actually. And you guys know me, I love crit chance down and crit resistance is the same thing as a buff, so yeah. I think the CE is underrated. For sure. You love it on Tamamo? I can see that, yeah, because she doesn't have starting gauge anyway, or like gauge up from her regular skills, so yeah, I can absolutely see that. This is really good. If you want your, honestly, if you want your supports to have a 50% starting gauge, this is probably one of the best options out there, if not just flat out the best if you have a support that relies on, if their main card is arts, which is most supports in the game. I think this is very underrated. So both C's from this event, actually great. I think it's one of the A, maybe even A+. Is that crazy? Is that crazy for me to put? I think not, honestly. You use supports in everything. Obviously for farming, you don't need this. There your supports don't need it. Because, you know, you're not going to be really fighting with them. But for anything that's not farming, it's really good for supports. Especially, like, keep in mind, this is a free list. If this was all CEs in the game, like including your 2030s and Prismacos, etc., like all the premium support ones, then maybe I'll put it low. But this is just the free stuff, okay? I feel like it's fair to put it in A+, honestly. Because this is just the free stuff, this list. So in relation to that, it should be here. Some might even argue it's EX, because again, it's just free stuff. But I'm just going to put it in A+. Heavily underrated, in my opinion. I should level that up as well. I haven't even leveled this much yet. I should definitely do that. Stacks nicely with Castoria's crit resistance post LB62, by the way. Just saying. Anyway, then we got wearing our hearts on our sleeves. This is the almost the latest CE we have gotten on NA. Let's see. This is the lottery CE. It's a guts one as well. So this one is split stats, 1 time, 1 HP guts with Buster up 10%. Compared to the other two that I placed on A, this is definitely worse. They have 20% MP damage and 20% crit damage instead of the Buster, and they're full attack, so I would much rather use those in basically every case. This is like somewhere in between the garbage Narrowfest arts gut Cs and the much better ones. This is somewhere there in between. There's a big, like, difference between them, though. So if the trash stuff is, like, at D and the good stuff is at A, I'm just... maybe C+ is fair, then. Maybe. But if you have these, like Grudge Match and Three-Legged Race, you're probably just never gonna use this, honestly. But you know what? I would say it's average. It's still far better than, like, some of these other really awful guts ones. So there you go. And then the latest CE on NA, we got Hibiko's Leisure. This one actually is the first free 5-star CE to have a Buster crit damage. And back during that time, this was big, honestly, because, again, it was the first thing. Nowadays, there's a lot of them, but even the gacha ones have a lot of them. But let's see, this is the first one, I believe. Split stats is the only thing holding this back from being really, really good. But still, the effects, 15% crit damage, 20% Buster crit damage, so that's 35% crit damage if you're hitting with Busters, and then 50% starting gauge. If this was full attack, this would probably be EX. This would be an easy EX, I think. Easy. It would be so ridiculously good. But it's held back quite a bit by this, because of other options as well. I still think it's like an A tier CE, though. is good, is that you absolutely have uses for this. Even Himiko herself, clearly it was made with her in mind, obviously. They usually do event Cs based on, you know, either the gacha servants or the welfares of the event, and this was clearly made with Himiko in mind, because obviously if she wants to do damage, it's by Buster crits, and the 50% battery complements her own 50% battery, so you can start with her MP with maybe a full red chain as well if you get lucky, so yeah. Is good, but not the best. And then, this is funny, because the next one is really good. This is one of my favorite CEs. We got Like a Bird from Imaginary Scramble. For NA players, be on the lookout, and I believe you do need a drop for this, so again, would recommend spending apples if needed, okay? This is worth it. This is worth spending apples to get that one copy to MLB. So on full attack, we have 15% Buster crit damage, and the same 20% Buster crit damage, matching that 35, and then you also get stars per turn. You do lose the 50% starting gauge, but the full attack, in combination of making your crits more consistent, ooh, sounds good to me, honestly. I love this CE, it's so good. And if you don't have the premium gacha options, this is the one you're going to be running on your Buster DPS. Buster crit DPS is like Super Ryan, like Jalter, like who else can I think of from the top of my head? Anyway, some examples right there. This is the best free option, I feel like. For sure. Ryder Liz, there you go. And welfare makes sense, so there, yeah, good stuff. Is this better than Hot Springs for me? Now that's a tough question. It really is. It really is. I feel like they should be on the same tier, if anything. Or this might be just a bit higher. Hot Springs was A+. I feel like, again, because this is just free stuff, I feel like I could put it to EX. Despite this being more generic, most of the time you're going to be critting with either a Buster or Quick Servant anyway, and especially because I think Buster is also the best for crits because of all the support options we have nowadays as well. So I think Buster has the strongest crits anyway. So I feel like I can place it above the Hot Springs CE, even if it is a bit more generic for arguably more use cases. I think I would still use this more often than not. And I do. I really do. I use this a lot on my JP and soon on NA as well. So, yeah. Is the C better than the Hakuno C? You're asking about Victor of the Moon, I believe. It depends. It really depends. For a lot of servants, Victor would be better. But, again, this is free only, so it's not even like a super fair comparison. So there you go. I think I'm going to place this in EX. Call me biased if you want, because I do love this C a lot. But, you know, I use it for a reason as well. It is that good. Of the free ones, I would definitely put it here. So again, if this was every CE, this would probably be A+, and Victor of the Moon would probably be an EX maybe. But because this is free stuff only, no comparison there, it goes there. Okay. Then we got Cherry Icicle. So this was their attempt at making more good Cs, and honestly, they could have done a lot worse. It's not amazing because it split stats, but I feel like this CE is slightly underrated. Because it's basically the quick version of Dive to Blue. Obviously, Dive to Blue did get the better version for arts eventually. This one still hasn't for quick, but regardless, 8% quick up, 50% MP damage, 50% starting gauge on split stats. Still, nothing to scoff at. Definitely not top tier among the free ones either, and yes, I would have preferred to see a higher number for the quick over the MP damage. But still, yeah. Well, I guess you can say that, Jord. I was mostly thinking because of the split stats versus the full attack. I feel like that holds more weight in the comparison, but yeah, it's like somewhere in between if you think about it. Definitely still an alright CE. Is good. Just a bit bummed out about the stat line, and the quick could have been a bit higher as well, I suppose. But it's definitely an A tier CE, for sure. It has to be on the same tier as like well, it's actually above Dive to Blue, but honestly, because this one doesn't have the better, this one has the better option existing, this one doesn't, so I feel like this is fair. I feel like it's fair for me to put it above Dive to Blue because of that. If they ever do the same treatment for this one and release the upgraded version, then I'm probably going to slide this here and put the upgraded version into EX. But there you go. And yeah, again, there's still, because there's this and Traces are probably your best options for the 50% free ones for quick. as sad as it is. This and you know, Traces. But the only reason I'm not putting into A+, like George suggested, is because of Traces also being free. Even though the effects are different, I would still probably run Traces 9.5 times out of 10 over this one. So I'm just going to leave it to A. Then next one is actually really good. I always forget the name, so it's called White Garden apparently. This one, another Buster Crit Focus C. So honestly, this one is the better version of the Himiko one we just saw. Wait, what? Did I... Oh, stitching of... Oh, never mind. I skipped it. Whoops. Not this one. It's stitching first. Oopsies. This one is the next one. Apparently, I can't find it. Did I misspell it? Oh, I did. Okay, never mind. Anyway. Here we are. Stitching. So, full attack, unlike the Himiko one. And then you have the same 20% Buster crit damage. But instead of normal crit damage, you have MP damage and 50% starting gauge. Honestly, I feel like it's better to have the MP damage over the regular crit damage. Because it gives you more multiplied effects, if anything. Because Buster crit damage and normal crit damage, as far as I know, are still in the same category of damage, right? So if anything, this is still even better. Not just because it's full attack, but because it's giving you a mixed buffs as well. Like, this is the C you're going to be running on your, like, Arjuna altars if you want to crit. Your Morgans, especially. Oh, this is so good for Morgan. Again, for people that are prepping for her, if you don't have, like, insane all the premium options, this is so damn good for Morgan. For DPSing purpose. It's so good. Ibuki as well. Saber, that is. Yeah, very good. Lots of good options for this C. It is very good. If anything, I feel like this goes into EX as well. Honestly, is that good? Is like, depending on which one you're going to pick, like a bird or this, if you need the starting gauge or not, you know? I would definitely put it here as well. How is that higher than HNS? Okay, Night Moon, you need to take your dick and put it up your ass. You're wanking way too much of HNS. Again, dude, here's... Okay, do I need to explain this every single time? HNS is never the best case scenario, okay? It's never really the best case scenario. Tell me one example of HNS being the best case scenario. You can't. Even among the free ones, you cannot. You probably have better options even under the free ones better. Come on, bro. Come on, you know this is true. This one has so many amazing scenarios for servants among the free options. Come on, dude. I would say this is still fair, Jord, because of the Bunny and C being for different purposes than this one. This one is used for DPSing more. I mean, you can use the Bunny and C for that too, but it's mostly used for looping instead. This is used for your Buster DPSing, crits DPSing. Yeah. Oh, I mean, again, don't get me wrong. HNS, absolutely an amazing CE. But because of all... If this list was done like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, easiest EX of my life. Easiest EX ever. For sure. But because, again, why would you pick a CE that's really good over something that's like the best for your servant? That's my argument. And it's not even a huge difference. It's still A+. Like, that's a great-ass score, bro. It's a great-ass score. I will not put H and S into EX, okay? And before I will eat my words, but I just don't really see the reason. Even if it's an amazing C, you probably just have better options, even among the free ones. Okay. Cool. Alright, moving on. I didn't think Night Moon of all people would be there. Like, usually there's some arguments in the chat, but to think one of my Discord mods is the one that... Usually it's a random guy that comes in to yell about their favorite stuff. Now it's someone I actually know. Although, to be honest, it's not the first time we've argumented, because Night Moon also, you know, considers Alter Ego a top-tier class, where I definitely disagree. So, you know, we definitely don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that's fine. That's why opinions exist, okay? That's fine. So, then we got White Ghost. This is a Valentine C, I believe. Yeah, it is. It says it right there, actually. Pretty forgettable, huh? Yeah, this is pretty forgettable. Split stats, quick and buster up 10%, MP damage 8% with 50% starting gauge. Kinda all over the place. Now, when I said HNS will never be the best option, this will never be the best option for anyone. So definitely not. Yeah, this is so forgettable, dude. I don't think I've ever used the CE, honestly. It's obviously not like bottom tier, like some of the other ones. It's fine, but because of other options, why would you ever really use this? And yeah, that's Europa on the picture. Yeah, with full attack, you could absolutely make a different case. Then it would be so close to drive, and it would arguably be better than Cherry Icicle as well, because it has quick up as well. It actually even has more quick than Cherry Icicle at 8%, despite being quick and buster, but yeah. I feel like it can still be B+. I think it's worse than Cherry Icicle. The only reason I'm giving it this high rating anyway is because, again, there's not that many amazing quick options. Quick is definitely lagging far behind. That's the only reason why I'm giving this a B+. But if you have, like, Cherry Icicle, Traces of Christmas, you're probably just gonna, you know, never really look at this CE, pretty much. Quick needs more options. Alright, next one is a Star Bomb, if I remember correctly. The Unmanipulatable One. That is a doozy of a word. The Unmanipulatable. Cool. So, split stats, okay. Whoa, Buster up 15%, crit damage 15%, and Star Bomb. Damn, if this was full attack, this could be actually very decent. Now I think it's overshadowed by way too many other Buster crit-focused CEs. There's way too many. Even Joint Recital is so much better than this, and that's an old-ass CE. This is way overshadowed. So many better options. Like, you have to have at least one of the better options than this. Unlike Quick, this doesn't really have the argument of having a small number of options. Ay. Do like the effects, but man, it's just, if you to compete in the Buster crit DPS CEs, you're gonna have to bring full attack. You just have to. You just don't compare to the better ones otherwise. You just don't. There's that many of them nowadays. This is a C+. It's literally average because of all those options existing. That's it. Just average. Okay. Then I believe this is the better version of the Sure Hit CE than this one, this Ilia one. Let's see if I'm correct. Blossoming under the crimson sky. This is a completely different CE. Okay, yes, it is the better one. So both of them have a Sure Hit and 50% starting gauge, but the other one had split stats, and this one has full attack and a pretty okay 15% crit damage. So, if anything, this is most comparable to, again, Summertime Mistress. So you would trade 5% crit damage to get Sure Hit. I still think Summertime Mistress is, again, better. But this is probably just under it, if anything. This is from the Idol event that a lot of people were not very happy with. The collab of last year. Okay. This is just below Summertime Mistress, which would make it a B+. So where was the other one? This one was C+. Yeah, you know what? I would definitely place this a tier higher than this Ilia one, the Knitting for Love. Definitely a tier higher. So I think this makes sense. Oh, we have finally arrived to Summer 6 stuff, and we're immediately gonna start with the banger. That is Ocean Frickin' Flyer, dude. Like, some of the EXs might be debatable on this list. This is one of the easiest EXs ever. This one might be the easiest EX in the whole list. So remember when Dive to Blue was good? Yeah, Power Creep. How about that? 8% arts, 15% MP damage, 50% starting gauge with full attack. This is a ridiculously good C. This is better than most gacha art Cs. The only one that even comes close to this, and it's even different use case, is Smiling Face. In my opinion, this and Smiling Face are top 2 art Cs for DPSing in the entire game. And this is a free CE. That's kind of nuts. Like, that is ridiculous. This is such a top tier free CE. It's like the easiest EX ever. Like, if you're it's good for DPS first and foremost, but if your Arts Looper can't like use Black Rail, this would probably be the CE you're gonna use instead. Like, seriously. Like, if you're looking at George's list here, let's see if it even loads. Oh, you can't even see it that well, but, like, look at this. For arts, like, if it's not Black Grail, it's gonna be Ocean Flyer. It's always gonna be, like, Ocean Flyer, if Black Grail won't do. In some rare cases, you're gonna see a C that we're gonna talk about soon, but besides that, it's always just Ocean Flyer, for a good reason. And again, that's not the only use. Obviously, it's an amazing C for looping, but it's also for DPSing. It's just that good. Top tier. If this was every CE in the game, including gacha ones, it would still be EX. Easily still EX, even with gacha Cs included. Yeah, I'm tempted to make an EX plus, honestly, because it also compares to gacha Cs in a very good way. And whatever, we'll move on now, though. So, the other Summer 6 CE, though, is Sink Deeper. I don't remember this one being particularly good. It makes sense considering, you know, Ocean Flyer is already stupid. So, the Van Gogh C. Full HP, starting or MP gauge per turn. Oh, and then it does the Foxy Lady MP damage. Why? They did it again! Why? And then crit resistance is obviously nice. I still think 10% crit resistance is better than, what was it, 200 damage cut from Foxy Lady? But that's the only difference. Why, dude? Why? Why? Why did they remake Foxy Lady? It was never good to begin with. God damn it. That's the only difference. You changed the 200 damage cut to a slightly better 10% crit resistance, honestly. That's it. Such a sad C. But honestly, it makes sense because it's the same event with Ocean Flyer. If there's one broken-ass C, you can't have two of them. So if Foxy Lady is in Y, I can maybe see this being a D. Just ever so barely escaping it. As fairly, a tiny bit more usable. But that's about it. Maybe this should be in Y as well, honestly. Yeah, it's not a big difference. Just Y it as well. It's stupid design. It's just, that doesn't work. They need to, don't make Foxy Lady 3, please. 2 is already more than enough. Just give us better Cs again. Give us good quick Cs. I have to keep repeating that. Right, then we got, which event is this from? Jade Hairpin? I don't remember. What is this event? It is... I don't remember the C. So Halloween! Oh, right, it's the new one, of course! They actually brought it back, yeah, okay. So, split stats, not a great start. Buster up 10%, MP generation 10% and 4 stars per turn. Ah, it's all over the place. Honestly, the art, shout out to Redrop, that looks nice. Cleo is also underrated as a waifu, but, man, this is way too all over the place. Ay. Like, split stats is already bad enough, but then you have, like, Buster, MP generation stars per turn is like... Yeah. For Cleo, it's actually not terrible, but you would have so many better options. Like, a dozen, if not a couple of dozen better options, even many of them being free as well. I think this is a C. It's just below average. It's not garbage. But, like, if you have Beautiful Dreamer, you would always use Beautiful Dreamer over this. Always. I don't see a single reason to use this over Beautiful Dreamer. Even though they have quite a bit of different stuff besides just the Buster and MP gain. Just, I don't see a really big use for this CE. If you're someone that uses the CE, let me know. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I just don't really see it. Now, then we get the Tiny Dressmaker CE. Was this also Halloween? The same one? My memory is a bit hazy of these times. It is, okay. Oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, but you suck! You suck! Why? Okay, full HP, great. Debuff immune, great. It's only one time, but still, it doesn't have a duration. I like that. 50% starting gauge, great, but... Why is it MP damage? Why do they put MP damage on these full HP supportive, mostly CEs? I don't understand. They made Foxy 3 immediately. I forgot about it. Bruh. Why? Why? This could have been a good... Like, this could have been Chainsaw of the Dead tier. Like, a good support 50% starting option. But why is there MP damage? Why? I don't understand the design, dude. This could have been, like, literally Chainsaw of the Dead 2.0, which is very underrated and good for supports if you need that starting gauge. They made 3 immediately after 2. Okay, I'm gonna put this to D. It's because this one at least has the starting gauge, and nothing else in this list I believe has a one-time debuff immune. So it gives it the nichest of the nichest use, right? That's it. The other option is like the Johnsy, which is a 3-time debuff immune, which is already better. But yeah, but that's a gotcha one. So it barely escapes the Y. So there you go. Just because the debuff immune, if anything, I'm gonna put it here. But man, it's not good, dude. It's not good. Then I believe this is also same Halloween, right? Yeah, Bear Kings. I forgot it had 3 CEs. It's kind of rare that they do it nowadays. Full attack, good. 1-time 1 HP revive, and then Buster crit damage 30%. So this is comparable to the 10% Buster up with split stats on that Guts. I would say this is much better. Much, much better. Definitely, like, at least a full tier better than the 10% Buster up with split stats. Otherwise, it's similar. Yeah. King Azansi, maybe for solos, but that's about it. Because he's not that good for critting unless you get those mighty chains going, honestly. He's not that good. He's only good if he gets those mighty chains, which is really mostly for solo. Then I could maybe do it, but besides that, yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait. Actually, no. He does need the Guts from himself, right, to get that Buster. I don't think this would cancel it. Yeah, fuck that. That would be horrible. Yeah. He needs his own Guts, right? Hijikata? Yeah, you could use this on Hijikata. In fact, I'm going to be using this on my Hijikata. For sure. Anyway, so this one was the other one, the 10%. This one is a B plus 10. This is a full tier higher. A full tier higher. No, George, sadly, I'm pretty sure King Hassan's Guts doesn't stack. It doesn't. So, it's still a nut skill because of all the other stuff it does, but it's not a stackable Guts. It would be kind of insane if it was, honestly. He would be way too hard to kill. But, you know, yeah. Compared to Grudge Match. Yeah, that's the other comparison. So this is 20% crit damage for everything, and this is 30 for Buster. Maybe they're the same, honestly. Yeah, this has more generic use, but again, Buster is the best card type for critting, right? So maybe it should be on the same tier. It kind of breaks even, if you ask me. Like, you can use this on more servants, but this one is on the best card type for critting. So you know what? Maybe they should be the same. Pretty much. Maybe arguably A+, but I don't think it should be that high. If anything, you know what? I'm gonna slide Grudge Match down, actually. So these are the best 2 ones. The MP damage one, 3-legged race, and this one. This is just below. If before this release, this would be up here, but I'm just gonna slide it just below it now. Because again, Buster is still easily the best class for crits. So I feel like it has more use cases than Grudge Match does nowadays. So there you go. Because I did the same thing with At Trifas and Like a Bird, basically. I have to stick with my criteria. These are very comparable, for instance. Or rather, the Oni Spring CE and Like a Bird. I have to stick with my criteria. That was the same reasoning, basically. Now, let's see. What is this CE? Oh, this has to be good as 6, right? Because it has Izumo on it. Geisha Dancing Flowers. I don't remember what the CE does. Probably not a good sign. Usually remember the ones that are worth remembering. Nice art, though. Yeah, split stats. Oh, wait. No. This is actually good. Oh, wait. I mean, sure, it kind of sucks that it split stats, but 50% starting gauge with demonic damage mod. Oh. I mean, it's certainly a lot worse than the Arjuna one, because divine is more common than demonic, and it's full attack versus split. But man, this is not the... I believe there's actually another free demonic CE as well upcoming, but this one might still be the best of the ones. This one might still be the best anti-demonic CE, which always, again, it doesn't say much because there's not that much for CEs. But, yeah. I think this should at least be an A then, honestly. I do think the Arjuna CE is much better, though. Full attack and divine is much more common in bosses than demonic. So, you know what? I think A might just be fair. Because it's still a very, you know, solid niche. I'm pretty sure... This is the other demonic one, I believe. This Murasaki one. But first, oh, remember that Barghest CE in the spreadsheet? Let's take a look. like a lady. First of all, one of my favorite arts in the game. If she had a costume, Barghest had a costume like this in game, I would absolutely grail. I'm just not a huge fan of the armor stuff. But if she looked like this, now there is a proper Ojo-sama, I would be immediately grailing. So, but you know what? At least we have this nice looking CE. That's great. Anyway, full attack, 20% MP generation and 50% starting gauge. The only thing that's letting it down is the healing up. But honestly, just for the 20% MP generation with 50% starting gauge, this is literally a budget Sapphire. That's literally what it is. And Sapphire is a gacha premium MLB, limited one as well. This is a free version of Sapphire, and that's by no means bad, because Sapphire is still probably the best looping CE in the game if you need the gains, aka with quick and arts, like just for gains purposes, not damage, for gains if those are needed. This is the free version. The healing received in most cases will not do anything, but still to this day, this is just really damn good. Is the gain version of Sumo good on anyone? I guess it is. It's still slightly better for people that do have some healing in case you're not doing looping and you're just actually DPSing as well, so it has a bit more value. So it's not as generic, but still pretty damn generic as well for usage, yeah. Oh, that's cool speed, I guess. I feel like this should be at least an A+. Do you guys think it's EX? It's still probably the best MP gain, like, starting gauge C for free options, though. It probably is EX because of that. Obviously, if you do have MLB Sapphire, you wouldn't do this, but that's an event-limited gacha CE. That's kind of nuts. Oh, and apparently, yeah, it was the Lotto CE, I suppose. I forgot about that. Is this before or after Tunguska? I think it's before, because this should be in release order, and we haven't seen Tunguska CEs yet, I believe. The only reason why I don't like putting it in EX is because of the healing up it's just an effect that doesn't really do much most of the time. So it's kind of a wasted effect. But because of the other two, it's still good. Like, it's still such a good CE. I don't know, maybe I should just slide it A+, because I don't like that there's a mostly useless effect in EX. I don't kind of like that idea. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I do see the argument. You could. Here's the thing. If someone watching this later and skips to this part, I understand EX. I do understand it. But I just don't like the idea that it has mostly a useless effect. Still, of the free ones, this is still your best gain CE for starting gate. It really is. Bar none. It is the best DPS gain CE for free options. So... But I don't want to put it into EX. I don't like that the healing thing is mostly useless. But if someone has it on EX, completely understood. Okay. Then I believe this is already the second of these anti-demonic Cs. That was very fast. But this one probably not as good if I remember correctly. Probably not even starting gauge, right? Yeah, okay. So it's also split stats, but it's also less demonic damage. It's 20% versus 30%. Oh, but it is starting gauge, never mind. So it's an interesting trade-off, huh? You trade 10% niche to 10% arts. I feel like in this case, it's a worse trade-off. Because, why? If you're gonna bring the sea, you're gonna bring it for the niche, right? Why you would bring Ocean Flyer or something else instead, right? So I feel like this is worse because of that. Like, you're either gonna bring higher demonic, you know? Or you're gonna bring, like, Ocean Flyer or something else if you want arts. Yeah, the argument is there for it's because there is multiplication. But to be honest, you would be running this on an arts servant, right? No shot in this year you would not have an arts buff on that servant most of the time anyway. If not just every turn. So I feel like this is just under the other anti-demonic one, which we saw like 2 CEs ago. It's not bad. So it's still like, what, a B+? But I would prefer this GUDAO 6 CE most of the time. Yeah. So there you go. Boom. Now, is this Tunguska? Wait, Tunguska, did it even have CEs? No, it didn't, right? Did it? Maybe. Is this the one? Let's see. Check ready. Amazing CR, is it? I don't remember this actually. Oh, this is Binny as well. Never mind. I guess did Tunguska not have free CEs? I guess it didn't then. Anyway, is this that good? Okay, it's alright. It's alright. So full attack. Oh, it's a gut C as well. MP damage, MP generation. Okay. Well, this is among the better ones as well. Yeah, for sure. I forgot this was even a thing. Wow. Wow. Okay. This is probably in A tier as well, honestly. This is comparable to the best ones. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot this existed. Now I'm kind of mad because it looks like a pretty good Gutsy. This is comparable to Three-Legged Race and the Buster Crit one, I would say. Depends on your needs. Those would be the Gutsies to go for, if anything. C, okay, you're high. I'm just gonna disregard that opinion. These are the these are the best of the best Gutsies. You gotta realize they don't even do that for Gacha Cs. So while Guts, yeah, maybe not the best effect out there, these are the best ones, and I will respect it. Still A, the best ones. Now we have an interesting looking C. I don't remember this being amazing though. Cosmo Chaldea School. What event was this? Was this the same one actually? It is, right? Yeah, because this is the drop C. Yeah, okay. Lottery drops. Split stats, crit damage 15%, arts crit damage 20%, 15%, 50% starting gauge. If this was full attack, I would say this is better than Tenki Hime, because it would make more sense to be more crit focused. But because it's split stats, it's not as good. Tenki Hime is still better than this because of full attack, for sure. Sad. This would be just a plus above Tenki Hime if this was, you know, full attack. Beal, you gotta realize it's defense up. The enemy has any buffs, they already start to ignore some of that. Why would I run that over, let's say, like a 3-hit Invul CE, which is by far better, and the star generation is literally poop as a second effect? It's useless in that CE, whereas the other ones had some other stuff as well that are actually useful. So yeah, it's complete poop. So yeah, it's similar to the Himiko one, yeah, for arts. I guess it should it be in the same tier though? Maybe not, because again, Buster is way better for crits than arts. And that was A tier. So what was the other C I was comparing this to? Shit. Tenki Hime, which is also an A. Yeah, so it should definitely be B plus then. Yeah, that makes sense. If Tenki Hime and the Himiko C are here on A, it should be lower. So B plus sounds perfect to me. Yeah. But for arts crits, this is still up there for one of your better free choices. Definitely. Damn, only 6 to go. We still have one amazing CE at least. First of all, Stars Holiday. I believe this is the event for Trunk Sisters, right? Yeah, this is that event. For what was the event called again? I'm so bad with the names. Sea Monster Crisis, there you go. So on split stats, oh no, okay, that's a lot of stuff. Interesting that they split these into their own rows now, instead of just writing them on the same lines. Anyway, green and blue up 10%, MP damage 8%, 50% starting gauge. There was a C, this is similar to the Europa one, right? This is exactly the same, but for different card type, right? Yeah, with the White Garden one, yeah, exactly. So this should, well, that was Buster and Quick, but you know what? Since everything else I think is the same, and yes, I think Buster and Quick is slightly a better combo than Arts and Quick. It's such a small difference. I'm still gonna place them both in... Well, where was it again? Let's see, I'm blind. Oh, I placed it in B+, actually. You know what? No, this is not that good. Although I did place it here because Quick has less options, so maybe it should... You know what? Yeah, it should be here then. Yeah, because the reason I put it into B+ to begin with was as one of the Quick options, and because this is also Quick up, yeah, it should be the same. Yeah, that makes sense. Following my own logic here. Okay. Only here because, you know, Quick has no good options. It has good options, but not a whole lot of them. When Quick starts getting better options, a lot of these CEs will probably come down a bit on the free list. And then, is this the last amazing CE on this list? I'm not remembering properly. Is it just called Cranking? Everyone also calls the bunny in CE. So yeah, we finally see the reason why Aerial Drive is not EX anymore. The only reason why Aerial Drive is A+ instead of EX is this CE. It is extremely similar, but this is better, because not only does it have a higher percent for your effects, MP damage is better because of Oberon. That's literally the only reason. So, sadly, because of how similar they are, and because this is objectively better in most cases, in 99 out of 100 cases, this will be better than Aerial Drive, as crazy as it is. So yeah. Kinda nuts. And yeah, even without Oberon, it still has more stats, right? So, it's still better, even if you're not using it with Oberon. It still does make a difference, Lina. And because we have, like, these are all free. If these were both paid, maybe I could make the argument of placing them in the same tier. But this one has to be higher than Aerial Drive, because they're both absolutely free. There has to be a difference. But obviously, again, Aerial Drive is A+, it's still solid, and NA won't be getting this C for a long time, so... And we will get the Buster farming units, the supports, way before we get this, so you're going to be running Drive a lot anyway. So it still has a lot of mileage left. Now, we got Heartbreaker. I have no memory of this CE. What is this? Is there a circumstance that we choose Aerial Drive or Bunny in CE? Probably not. I don't know, honestly. It's hard to say. If you're going into like Nightmoon said, if you're going into a fight that has like a lot of MP seals or something, when you expect to not to be MPing easily, then maybe you would go with Drive. And even then, it's a small difference. Otherwise, I can't really think of a lot of reasons why you would use Drive over Bunny and C. Anyway, Heartbreaker, full attack, sure hit. Oh, this is another one of these good ones. 50% starting gauge. And then blue and red. Only 6% though. That's not much. But I feel like this should be on the same tier as the Okita one. It was also full attack, sure hit with 50%. This should still be on the same tier as that one. It just depends on what kind of servant you're using and which one you're going to choose if you need a sure hit. And again, sure hit is not even that good because Invul Pierce exists, but yeah. So, because that is in, was it B+? This should also be in B+. Same as this, basically, just very interchangeable depending on your servant. Not a big difference. And then we have Summer 7 stuff already. Fist of Hail. This is a nice looking CE though, at least, in terms of the art. This was a good quick CE, right? Yeah, dude! Hey, full attack. That's actually rare for quick, as sad as it is. 15% up for quick and crit. And a star bomb. Okay! Yeah, this is a legit quick CE, actually. This is really legit. This is, I guess, especially because quick still to this day doesn't have the most options. This is really good. Yeah, I agree. This is an A+. This is absolutely an A+. That is just so good. Wow. Solid. Very, very good. I should level that on JP, if anything. Seems really good. Yeah, and the synergy of the effects, I agree, is very good. Wow. Great CE, huh? In this case, as much as I love stars per turn, I actually think in this case the star bomb is better than stars per turn, because quick servants tend to generate a lot of stars anyway, and on turn 1 you tend to not have any stars because, you know, you haven't attacked at all yet, unless you have star bombs in your kit. So I think even then, like, the star bomb is even better than like stars per turn, so that's cool. Then this was also the same event, right? Summer 7, we got Eyes Warrior, back to Sabor Bargist, you know, assets. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Bill. Alright, split stats, not a great start. Oh man, again, this is one of these again. We have seen 2 other ones already. This is the exact same thing. So all over the place. Not terrible, but this one, honestly, I will put, I think, just a plus under the other 2 ones, because this one doesn't have the argument of bumping it because there's not that many great quick options. The other ones were quick and buster and quick and arts. So for this combo, you definitely have better options. This is not as good as the two other ones, but just not big difference anyway. But I would place this under those two. So if they were like B+, this would be B. BB. Get it? Funny. So yeah, White Garden and this Melt one are better because Quick has less options. So there you go. That's why this is a plus lower, or rather gets a minus, if that makes sense. And then, wow, we're already at the end. It's the GUDAO 7 CE, Welcoming a Journey. I actually don't even remember what this does. I'm using it right now when I'm still farming the event. Also, my phone is making alert. Okay, anyway. Okay, split stats, 10% Buster Quick, MP Generation 8%, starts bad. Okay, so this is just a worse version of Traces. Right? This is a worse Traces, is what it is. Is there any other big comparison? It's just quite a bit worse than Traces is. I think that's about it. Don't really have any other big comparisons. So if Traces is EX, which is deserved because it's the best quick looping CE for if you can't run Black Grail, this one I'm gonna still place in B+. It's comparable to some of like these two that I was just talking about, White Garden and the Melt one. Just MP gain instead of like, what was it, MP damage? I feel like it's pretty interchangeable in these. So there you go. So now comes the question before we wrap up things. Do we want to switch out things? Like, or move things around? I'm mostly, at least already, very satisfied with this. You think Decapitating Bunny should be A? Well, honestly, there were less Invul Cs than I remembered, so maybe I can actually bump this into A. It's still full attack, and because Quick has less options, and Invul Pierce is better than Sure Hit, you know what? Yeah, that's a fair one. That's fair. I agree with that. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about the levelings. Let's lock the placements first, then I'm going to give you recommendations to level, if you have them. Let's finalize the positions first. Make EX plus that are for free ones that are better than gacha ones. I'm kind of tempted to do that, in which case we would obviously have stuff like Ocean Flyer, at least for the starting gauge ones, but I think I shouldn't. People are going to mold if that happens, because there was so much molding in the servant list when it comes to that as well. Would I consider the Arjuna C really a free C? Yeah, Donald, did you not know this was originally from a Valentine's event, so you could literally get 5 copies for free? I assume you only knew, it's like, you thought it was only from the RP shop. It was actually an event. But you only could get it to new, because Valentine's Cs are new every year and there's no reruns. They are the hardest Cs to basically MLB. Sadly, of the free ones. If there was an argument for the EX Raiko CE, is the Buster version of Tenkihime is not comparable to the HNS. I would think it's fair to put it a full tier up of Tenkihime, because Buster is so much better for crits than Arts is. I think it's fair. You don't think it's better than HNS? Isn't it a higher amount of MP damage as well? Like, was it 20% to 15? Isn't that a thing as well? I feel like that's also something to think about. And because, again, you're mostly going to be critting with Buster, at least doing the best crits with Buster. This has best case scenarios. This one doesn't. So, again, that's the main reasoning. If this CE didn't exist, then maybe this would be an EX. I don't know. Yeah. I think I still like that reasoning. Well, is that it? I'm pretty happy with this list. We were mostly tweaking during the list anyway. I think I'm pretty damn happy with this. Not really seeing too many other comments. We might just talk about leveling Cs briefly then. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I agree with that too. Bestia A+. Let me remind myself of the effects again. Let's see. Bestia Del Sol. Full attack, 15% quick and Buster, 15% crits. It's quite a bit of stats though, you're right actually. Do you guys think this should be A+ instead of A? It could be. These are the best card types for critting anyway. It could be. It could be A+, honestly. Yeah. It totally could be. So it seems like people are split on that. Some people are saying yeah, some people are saying no. BBAQQ servants? Yeah, true, very true. Hmm. Okay, as a side note, I might not bump it up, but I feel like this is easily, this can be A plus as well for people that are maybe checking later. This can be A plus. It's like somewhere in between. It's still very good. Very, very good. I think we might be good with the positioning then. Hopefully no one's gonna maul too bad on YouTube or in stream right now. Again, these are all opinion based. You can make your own tier list. In fact, I'm probably gonna link a template to this if you're watching this as a video, so feel free to make your own if you want. This is just my opinion. So before we finish, let's talk about levels, huh? So, let's see. I'm gonna start from the bottom because most of these I would not even get. So I'm gonna say if you should maybe get to C to like level 50, which is pretty easy, or if you should get them to level 100, which is basically 8 level 50 bombs, which is a much bigger investment. Most Cs, I would not recommend even getting 50 here, but let's see. Let's start from the bottom. Would I say get 50 on any of these? No, not any of the bottom 3 at least. Not really any of the... Maybe the Ushi one, but then again, you want to die with it, so nah. You could get this to 50. This is a good placeholder. If you're starting out and you don't have a lot of 50%ers, you could get this one to 50. This Enmate 50% C with Rainbow Effect. That's a fair. I would give 50 is fair for this one. Let's see. You could get the Nightingale Guts one to 50 for more HP. If you want a Guts CE for your support, because it also has MP gain, this is fair. This is okay for 50 as well, because it's still full attack for your crits. Probably this is fine as well, although it's a bit less value because of split stats. Now we get to a position where a lot of these are at least worth a 50, honestly. If anything, I should start talking about which are level 100 worthy. Okay, this is 50, this is 50, this is 50, this is 50. This one may be 50 as well. This 50. Pick one of the sure hit ones to 50, don't do more than one. Also pick one of these one, like this, or this to 50. Don't do all 3. And yeah, that's about it, I would say. Then this to 50, this to 50. This is fine to 50. Pick one of the Gutsies that you like the most. Unless you have a lot of EXP, you can get them all to 50, but just pick one Gutsy, I would say. Painting Summer, if you don't want to wait for this, I guess you can get this to 50. Many people already have it. This is fine at 50 because it's full attack. Tenkihime as well. You could even maybe 100 if you're struggling with 50%ers. Himiko is fine at 50, mostly because of split stats. I wouldn't get it to level 100. And yeah, get this at least to 50. If you have abundance of EXP, I would honestly get the Izumo C to level 100, because it seems to be the best anti-demonic one. But only if you have an abundance of EXP. Otherwise, 50 is fine. None of these 2 to 50, because you want to die with them or come into the battle. This one is at least worth a 50, maybe 100. 50 this. I would 100 Sweet Crystal, honestly. It's, in my opinion, the most versatile in Vulpir C. I have it at 100 myself. And despite HNS not being at level 100, I would absolutely level 100 it. It's still super generic. You can use it on anyone. Again, the only reason is why it's not there is because this one is there, and this hardly has best case scenarios anymore. Still an amazing C. I would 100 it. This 150 because Bunny and C exist now. Or you could even leave it at 0, actually. This one at least a 50. This one at least a 50. This one you could honestly get to 50. That HP is valuable for supports. This one, honestly, this one is worth 100. Because it's the best free-to-play gain CE with starting age. This is worth a level 100. Even if, again, I could easily see it being EX as well, by the way. This one, definitely at least level 50. It's a solid, quick crit DPS CE. Golden Carp, I would just get to 50. No reason to get it to 100, in my opinion. It's just one of those that you get a fast start. It's not really supposed to be like an amazing DPS CE. It's just a fast start. Golden Sumo, of all the CEs here, it's the best to level 200 because it also gets, its effect gets better from the CE levels as well. It's the only example in this whole list where the effects also get better from the levels. So it's the easiest level 100 of this entire list. Arjuna C, I would get to level 100 because it's the only good anti-divine C. Versus is okay, but it's also a gacha one. This is still the best one. This one, get this to level 100, Royal Icing, if you don't have MOB Smiling Face. If you do, get that to 100 instead. This one to 50 maybe. Traces, easy level 100. It's the quick looping CE if you can do it with more higher damaging CEs. Hide Hunter, at least 50, I would say. If you use it a lot, if you're like someone that loves soloing Van Gogh, you can absolutely level 100 too. Depends on how much you use it. Like a Bird, easy 100 in my opinion for those buster crits. Same with this one. Although, you could probably choose one of these. You probably don't have to get both, the Raiko CE and Like a Bird. They're very similar. So it depends. I would maybe get one of them to level 100 and one of them to 50. Ocean Flyer is an easy level 100. It's still to this day like top 2 artsies in the whole game, including gacha ones. And then Bunny and C also the easiest level 100 because it's the buster CE to loop with, and also amazing for DPS. Granted, you need the 50% for looping, which most buster loopers do. So there you go. That's my leveling advice really fast, I suppose. Cool. And with that, we can conclude this. I think this was like at least 3 hours long. Hard to tell at this point because I had to take that break because of a migraine. But I believe this was like 3 to 4 hours long. So hey, if you're watching this later on YouTube, and if you're watching this on my stream and you watch both parts, like, well, it's one video, but 2 streams basically. Thank you so much. Very cool of you to stick around. Again, hopefully no one is not too mad about the placements. Okay, it's just opinion based after all, you know, and I agree some of these can absolutely be swapped around. It's not definitely not super set in stone. Some of them are easy, like this one and this one and this one and etc. But some of them, yes, arguments can be made. I can understand that. So again, if you're at the end, can you leave me a like if you're watching it on YouTube? That would be great. There's quite a bit of effort that goes into making these. And yeah, there will be a second one sooner than later, maybe even next week if I can slot it in. So that would cover the premium, the gacha 5-star Cs. Now there we will have a bit more criteria, where we will also look at non-MLB effects, because MLBs are definitely not guaranteed. So Cs that have like good non-MLB effects as well get bonus points. So that's just a thing that will happen. So otherwise, mostly probably pretty similar criteria. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you enjoyed the timestamps. I bet at this point I haven't even done them, but they were a bitch to write. I can already tell. Probably even harder to write than Servants. There's also 94 of them. So leave a like for those, if anything. And yeah, I'm gonna sign off. Gonna chill out because I still had a migraine today. So stay tuned. Tomorrow birthday stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, it should be on the same day maybe. And have a good rest of your weekend, okay? Have a good one, and a peace out.